Hello everybody and welcome back to Typical City. Here we go, pre-season, let's get started. That team news is interesting, very interesting. Obviously, Ortega in net and you've got 400,000 substitutes as you're allowed for every pre-season game. Ortega in net, Walker, that's the big one for me. I think that is an indicator that Pep wants him to stay. I think Pep wants the man to stay. He's probably had a conversation with him. I doubt he'd throw him in the team and stick a captain's armband on him without the idea that he's going to stay. So could that mean no Benjamin Pavard? Walker stays. I'm happy with that. And I've gone, you can see my my lineup there. I've gone with Walker as part of the three. Now, my formation that I've gone for there is the formation that we sort of ended the season last season. So I'm not convinced that it is going to be as structured as that. I think there might be a little bit more fluidity to it, but I have gone with Walker as part of the three. So I think it could work. I think Akanji and Ake alongside each other, then Phillips and Stones, which is what we saw a lot of last season. Stones playing in defensive midfield that's his new position. That's his new position. Ahead of them, Kovacic, I'm excited to see him. McAtee as well, another one that Pep's thrown right in the deep end for pre-season, gone, right, go on, show me what you can do, Mr. McAtee. And Alvarez up front as well. No Haaland, I was excited to see Haaland. I've missed him. Who hasn't? I have missed that man. Passionately missed that man. Grealish on the left, and I've gone for Palmer on the right. So, yeah, morning, Mark. Good to see you in the chat. How are you doing, my friend? It'd be nice to see a lot of the people that, because I talk to a lot of you guys and reply to as many as I can to the comments that you guys put in after the video. But this being the first one I've done live, it'd be nice to get to know you guys. So get your comments in. I'd love to speak to some of you guys. You all seem intelligent and good footballing people, which is a good community that I want to build. So good to hear from you, Mark, as well. And yeah, answering the questions above to Noisy Neighbours, you can watch this on City Plus, which is a paid subscription. You will not be getting it on here because I do not want to get sued by Manchester City. So yeah, you'll have to get it on City Plus. But that team news, yeah, on the bench, Edison, Carson. I mean, are we going to see both keepers? I'm not so sure. Diaz, Cancelo, that's the other interesting one. But did he have an option? We've got 25 men there. That's the whole squad. So he's got to put him somewhere. And on the bench, he's chosen on the bench, which could be a clue, maybe. He's there. He's in the squad. But, I mean, where else is he going to go? We can't just stick him on the touchline, can he, and say do nothing. Maybe clean boots. Don't know. Personally, what are your views on Cancelo? I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on Cancelo. I feel like it is quite a divisive one because the player on his day is so good and he's capable of magical things. But you can't behave like that at the end of the day. You cannot behave like that with rumours of throwing a ball at Pep Guardiola. It's unacceptable behaviour. What he's capable of on his day, though, is like, yeah, an amazing player, but you've got to consider the grand scheme of things. Look at the big picture, the whole team, and all the younger players will be looking at that and going, Cancelo threw a ball at Pep Guardiola. That's the rumours. The bare minimum is he spat his dummy out and walked out and then made comments in a Bayern Munich shirt about getting Thomas Tuchel to win him a Champions League trophy. So already you've burnt half the bridge there, pretty much. And then the post on social media about Portugal and forget the rest and believe in yourself, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, MCFC fans channel says, keep him. That's interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks, little believer. How are you doing? Mark says the complete opposite, which is why I think it's divisive. Yeah, he says he should go. Noisy Neighbours, where to watch on City Plus or Recast, if you have that. I've never used Recast. I don't know what Recast is, to be honest. I've never even looked at it. Anytime I've seen it, it's been linked with City Plus. So that's where I'd go. But it is a paid subscription. But no, yeah, Cancelo. I am more on the argument of get rid now. I think the damage has been done. But we've seen stranger things. Players have behaved worse and come back to City and been welcomed with open arms. But I think I'm talking namely about the Carlos Tevez situation when he was asked to come on as a substitute by Roberto Mancini. He says, get on that pitch, please. And then all of a sudden, it's like, no, he's kicking off a fuss. I'm not going anywhere, mate. I'm not getting on that pitch. I'm off. Big hissy fit. Off to play golf for 2 or 3 months, right at the end of a season when we're trying to win the Premier League. And then he comes back. And I think City and the club and the fans and the mindset of us all were in a different place at that time. I think we were looking at that as like, we'll take what we can get. Anything to get a Premier League title. We lowered our standards of morality, I think, and expectancy levels of certain players' behaviour. I think the standards were lower back then, and allowing Carlos Tevez to come back, and I mean that performance when he did come back, he got himself a hat-trick as soon as he came back away to Norwich, and him and Aguero linking up. We went away to Norwich and won 6-1. That was a vital stepping stone to winning that Aguero moment title. So personally, I think we've changed now. I think João Cancelo, and can he come back and do what Tevez can do? Because Tevez is the type of player to come back and score a goal, and then all is forgiven when you score a goal. That tends to be the way. Scoring goals is the greatest thing you can do as an apology. Cancelo's not going to get as many opportunities as a centre forward, so he's got a harder job to impress City fans when he comes back. But come the crunch time at the part of the season, at the end of the season, we're going to be looking at it and going, there could be a moment where we need someone like João Cancelo, you know, and he could come in and do a job for us in certain moments of the season. But it's the example that sets for the other kids, the Rico Lewises of this world, and watching João Cancelo play like that. And yeah, obviously follow the player's example in terms of quality and the way he plays the game, an excellent player. But his behaviour is what you don't want to follow. And that's the problem with putting him back in. It seems like you can, if you're allowed to do that, then and you're allowed back in, then other players will think, no, I can do that then, can I? I can push my luck. Yeah, Mark Harris says they'll be wondering how they can get into the team if they allow Cancelo back in. Yeah, exactly. That's another example. Yeah, it's like, I mean, do they have to misbehave, do they? That's the thing, to get back in. Unbelievable. But Noisy Neighbours, yeah, I've answered your question, mate. It's on City Plus. To get it onto City Plus, you need to go onto the City website, go to video, drop-down box. There should be a City Plus. If you're not subscribed, you won't be able to do it. I think you might as well pay for the month and cancel it at the end of the month if you're not interested in doing that. If it's not. I don't know about Recast, mate. I do not know about Recast. But in terms of City Plus, you'll need to subscribe. And that I'm not sure what the fee is. It's not much, a couple of pounds. I don't know what part of the world you'll be paying from, but in England it's a few sterling per month. Worth it for this game, and for you're going to get the Bayern Munich game and then the Atletico Madrid game as well with that, so it's worth doing it for that. But Kovacic is another one. Kovacic, for me, I'm excited to see him. I think he has flown under the radar as an exciting transfer. I think he's, because of the Gundogan situation and what a hard act that is to follow, coming on into the team after Gundogan, winning a treble as the captain, and seeing Gundogan lift a Premier League, then an FA Cup, and then smashing one in the top bins against United in the first 14 seconds, and then to lift the FA Cup and then play it. And he didn't stand out. He was solid against Inter Milan. He had an okay game against Inter Milan. I don't think anyone had a superb game. Even Rodri in the Champions League final got his goal, but before that, he was looking a bit shaky in that first half. I think the nerves were huge in that Champions League final, but who cares? We won. But yeah, the point being is Kovacic has got a hard act to follow, considering how Gundogan left us. Maynak Das says, hi to you, my friend. Yeah, Kovacic shooting isn't like Gundogan. Probably not. Finishing-wise, maybe not. I've seen him score a couple of screamers in a Chelsea shirt, though. I remember one against Liverpool. It was just this little punt of a volley. It's like bang, and it smashed the bar and went in. I remember that. So he has got a goal in him, but Gundogan has got this knack to drift in, Lampard style, at the last second, as all the defenders have made their way into the box. Gundogan drifts in at the very last second and picks up the loose pieces, similar to how Rodri did for that Champions League goal, where all the defenders have worked their way into the 6-yard box to pack the defence, and then a midfielder can drift in the last few seconds. So Kovacic is one for me. What I've done as well, I've gone for McAtee and Kovacic. That's a very agile two forwards ahead of them. Now, normally last season that would have been Gundogan and De Bruyne, or Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne, but Kovacic I think can drop. So I'm not convinced this is the formation that Pep's going to go with. What are your opinions on the formation as well? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that formation. I've gone for 3 at the back, the formation that we ended last season. It could well be Walker right back, Ake left back, Stones dropping in to a centre-back alongside Akanji, and only Phillips as a single defensive midfielder in front of the back 4 rather than a back 3, and then a flat 3, and then McAtee, Kovacic and Palmer and Grealish as a flat 4 rather in front. So 4-1-4-1 with Alvarez up top. It could be like that. Walker can play centre-back though. That's why I've stuck him in there, because I've seen him do it in an England shirt. I think Pep asked him a couple of times last season to do it, but obviously he prefers right back. But yeah. Yeah, McAtee, that's, for me, main act, I totally agree. McAtee's an exciting one. It's so brutal, isn't it? Football as a game, and at that level, it's so brutal. He has basically got 3 games now. This one, in particular, Bayern Munich and Atletico Madrid. And in that time, if he can tear up a few trees, grab Pep Guardiola by the scruff of the neck and say, I'm getting in this starting 11, mate. I am getting in this starting 11. If he can do that and prove himself, then amazing. I'll be so excited to see. I don't think he's going to be starting 11 quality yet because of the quality of the squad. I mean, if you look at the bench, it's pretty ridiculous on that bench as well. We could well be adding to it with a Mahrez replacement as well. I think Bernardo's going to say, you see the skinhead as well. Bernardo's gone full skinhead. Hopefully that's, I don't know what that indicates. What does getting a haircut indicate? Nobody knows. But Bernardo, I think he'll stay as well. De Bruyne is on the bench. Rodri's on the bench. Laporte's still there. Haaland's obviously on the bench. So Oscar Bob and Rico Lewis, Perrone as well. They've got points to prove. I think Lewis less so than Bob and Perrone. Perrone playing as much as he did last season. None, basically. You're wondering if this is his last chance. Similar to McAtee, can he use these 3 games in pre-season to prove himself? Oscar Bob, same again. He excites me, Oscar Bob. He really is exciting. He seems powerful, really powerful. And maybe if he does a good enough job in pre-season, we might not need to go out and splash the cash on a replacement for Mahrez. You might not want to hear that, because I think most people would rather see a big marquee name coming in. But Oscar Bob could well do that. For Lewis, though, Rico Lewis, he's got to continue the trajectory. He's got to make sure that last season he doesn't rest on his laurels. Look back at last season and, I got myself into the first team. That's it, me. I'm a City player now. Job done. No, it's not job done. You could just as easily not be a City player in a year's time. So he's got to keep focused and keep going. Work harder, get more minutes, get more game time, and demand more of Pep to get more into that first team. Because when he first came in, he was like a duck to water, wasn't he? He just looked like he'd been a first team regular for the last 2 or 3 years. How comfortable Rico Lewis looked. And brave as well. Like, a little guy, like 19 years old. It did not faze him. Nothing fazed him. He was playing in the Champions League and scoring. So if that's confidence and composure, that's incredible. So looking forward to seeing Rico Lewis. Should Cancelo get a chance after half time? It'd be interesting to see where his attitude is. I think Pep's probably already made his mind up. I'm not sure Pep's going to throw him in there if he hasn't already decided that he's going to throw him in there. It's the pre-season, isn't it? So you're probably going to see the whole bench just come on at half time. You're going to see that first 45 minutes of this starting 11, and then in the second half, you're probably going to see a complete change. And well, not the whole bench, because you can't field 14 players, obviously, but 11 of them will likely come on, or a big chunk of those players will come on. Second guessing Pep Guardiola is an absolute nightmare. Making that formation, I was like, I'll go with that. See what that turns out like. Who knows with Pep? Who knows? He's always got a trick up his sleeve, hasn't he? But got to keep an eye on the game time here as well. Talking and enjoying it as well. And before you know it, I'm suddenly not watching the game. 15 minutes to go. Oh, I'm excited. It's not. not the most blockbuster game, is it, Yokohama? I think there's going to be 80,000 people there. 80,000 people. I remember I was saying it yesterday in my video in how far this club has come, and considering the pre-seasons. I remember going to Edgeley Park, which is Stockport County's ground for those who don't know, and sitting there watching Stephen Island. This was Mark Hughes, and pre-seasons as well, going back Preston North End days and playing against those types of teams. But this pre-season now, compared to the likes of going to Edgeley Park, and now we've got these giant buses with holograms being projected out of them. Someone told me yesterday, I think MCFC Champions, I think his name was, that they were fake. Yeah, I thought they were, to be honest, but I didn't want to believe it. I want to believe that they were real holograms being projected up from 3 Man City buses driving right through the middle of Tokyo. The difference in the size of the club now, and compared to what we are now to what we were back then in the pre-season. Just even now, just seeing thousands and thousands of fans from all over the world going wild for Manchester City. It's crazy. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's an amazing time. But yeah, no, people asking a lot about Cancelo. I think that is the biggest topic for today. Is probably Cancelo. I think Walker's probably that's answered questions for me. Walker being in that starting 11. Benjamin Pavard can definitely play as a centre back and as a 3 in the centre back. But if we're keeping Walker, there is no need to go and get Benjamin Pavard. I think that puts that to bed. It stops Bayern having frightening speed as well. And we're talking about the one chance, unless we draw them in the group, of course, then we could end up playing them more than twice in the Champions League. But if we get Walker, plays in Bayern Munich, you've got Alphonso Davies on the left, Kyle Walker on the right, and if they're going strong for Harry Kane as well, for me, Bayern Munich are an absolute terrifying outfit. They're looking formidable, what they're signing right now. Yeah, and if they add Walker to that, the speed of those fullbacks, it's a cheat code. I mean, going down those wings, the speed that they'll have, it would be a cheat code. So I don't want to keep him just so Bayern don't have him, though. That's not the reason we should keep any player, just so another club doesn't get them. We shouldn't think like that. We should definitely think bigger than that. And I think Walker, my voice is too low. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can fix that for you, mate. But bear with me 1 second. How's that? Can you all hear me fine? Top and special. Your voice is too low, he said. Is everyone else hearing me okay? Robin Deep asks where to watch the match for free. I can't help you there, mate. I can't help you there. It's fine. Everyone says it's fine. That's good. I'm not sure my voice is fine, but the volume is fine. Cheers, Jasper. My voice is fine. Thanks, mate. Yeah, no, you're not going to be able to watch this game for free. If you're on City Plus, it's a few quid a month. You might as well subscribe for the month. You'll get all the pre-season games with that, and then cancel your subscription. That's the cheapest way you do it, and you've got, 12 minutes to do it. So you have got time, won't take long. Cancel your subscription. There's no free trial though, so I don't think you'll be able to get it for free exactly. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. I really am looking forward to this game because I've missed them. It's like it hasn't sunk in that we won the treble yet. Do you know what I mean? That still doesn't feel like a real thing. And now I think the moment it really will sink in is when you see the home fans at the Etihad. And the celebration will sort of continue in that first home game at the Etihad in the Premier League, when all the chants are about all our accomplishments, and we'll hear every little song about all the trophies that we won last season, the treble. And it's not sank in yet as well. And we're obviously taking these trophies away with us to Tokyo and showcasing it. And yeah, it's going to be incredible. But yeah, no, I'm sticking with Walker. I'm pleased with the fact that, like Mark said further up the chat, he said Walker's captain as well. And if that isn't an indicator of what Pep thinks of Walker, where he sees his future, then I don't know what is. But yeah, no, I'm KDB as well. Yeah, he's on the bench. That's a good point. He is on the bench, isn't he? But I believe he was just on the exercise bikes throughout the last few weeks. So I'm not convinced that he's going to be getting game time today. If he does get game time, that's great. Then that's very likely that he'll be ready for the Premier League. But the rumours are that he's not going to be ready for Arsenal in the Community Shield. He's not going to be ready for Burnley, which is not an easy start. The more I think about it, the more you think, oh, relegation or promoted side. Yeah, they always propose a bit of a problem, but it isn't just a promoted side. You've got the Vincent Kompany factor, you've got the James Trafford factor, you've got the fact that they rinsed the Championship last season. They annihilated that division. So they were playing at a standard that was higher, much higher than everyone else in their division. So they were already at a Premier League standard last season, and the way they were playing. And they eliminated loads until they met us, obviously, in the FA Cup, and we battered them 6-0. So maybe we could do that to them again. But, I mean, this is City we're talking about. But they'd already knocked out some decent teams on the run to face us. So I'm not looking forward to that Burnley game. And this is the perfect game to get warmed up for that. Hot, big environment as well. Lots of... you got to remember, Yokohama are actually in the middle of their season, I think, right now. So they're fit. You're going to have to brace yourself. I think that you're going to see some sloppy performances from City, and I wouldn't read too much into it. I wouldn't put a dampener on that. I wouldn't panic about the idea that City are going to be a bit sluggish. Obviously, don't take the result too seriously, because I don't think it really matters at the end of the day. We've got to be looking at certain performances and positional awarenesses and things like that. Like McAtee, is he going to be aware of what Pep's asked him to do? Has he taken on board and absorbed all that information that Pep Guardiola has? But yeah, Jasper says, I just want to sign Gvardiol already. Me too, mate. Me too. That's an odd one, isn't it, the Gvardiol situation? Really is. I still believe it's going to happen. I still think that something went on between the clubs, and obviously a leak came out, and the clubs were quick on it as well. They really were quick acting on it. And you've got to understand that the clubs will have journalists that they trust, and they can allow and drip feed information out into the public. And City and RB Leipzig both had journalists that they gave information to say no deal has been agreed. And I'm not, whether that's the case or not, I don't know. We're not privy to that information. We are just guessing at this point. My indication from the confidence from Fabrizio Romano and the fact that Gvardiol himself was liking a lot of the social media posts that were linked to Fabrizio's first announcement of the deal, to me, that's an indicator that this is a done deal already. But the clubs wanted to allow it to marinate a little bit, take its time and announce it in their own time. Maybe, do they need to get other players in as potential alternatives as well? As RB Leipzig have been busy, though. They've been spending money. Maybe they don't want everyone to know that they've got £100 million or about to receive €100 million for a player. Maybe they want to keep that under wraps so they can do their business without that carrot above them. It's a carrot to the other clubs looking at them saying like, oh, you've got 100 million, right, we're going to charge you extra for whoever you're interested in. So maybe they want to avoid that scenario by keeping this quiet. And I know Pep likes to have a small squad. My theory was it was just the squad size, because I know Pep doesn't like an army of players to coach during pre-season or any time of the season. He likes a tight, small, knit group of players that he can focus on and concentrate on and get his point across to a smaller group. And maybe adding Gvardiol was one too many. He's already said 25 is the maximum. That's all I want, and that's it. It's not quite like the Champions League, though. Here they go. They're coming out into the tunnels. But yeah, the lineups for pre-season is not like the Champions League. Like, once you submit that list of players, that squad list, that's fixed. You can't change it. It's pre-season. You'd think there would be some flexibility in that, in players coming in and coming out. But lots of handshaking. Do you know my graphic that you can see alongside me there? I spent yesterday afternoon working on a Yokohama kit and having their starting a lineup. But their starting lineup didn't actually announce for bloody ages. Took me bloody ages to do that. Figuring out all the Yokohama squad. Mate, what a job that was. What a job that was. Figuring out all these names, man. Never heard of any of them. Andre Lopez, I know he's up front. I haven't actually seen their starting lineup, so I mean, I I say it like I'm going to give you some valuable information here, like, oh, Andre Lopez. I know he's their forward. I know they've got a lad called Elba on the left. So they've got a little bit of Brazilian flair. I think it's Brazilian flair in there. But yeah, I haven't seen anything on the Yokohama team. For anyone... Oh, there you go. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Lopez and Elba are playing. Marcus Jr. in the middle. Watanabe and Nagato. I'm acting like I know these guys. I don't know who they are like that at all. But I know what position a lot of them are going to play. And I think they probably play probably 4 at the back. But I think they play a 3 in the middle as well. Maybe even 2 defensive midfielders, similar to us. One thing I heard Pep say as well is they're intense. They play the City way. They play a high pressing game. So something to look out for. It's going to be a good test. I'm excited. They're in the tunnel. Here we go. Defense of the treble commences right here. Let's get going. I'm excited for this. I'm excited. But yeah, it's not going to be as good as the Bayern Munich game, of course, and the Atletico Madrid game. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully we don't concede 27 goals against Bayern Munich. That'll be good. That would be good. 27-0 they won. Phillips, Cover and McAtee midfield. Let's go, says Lachel Blue. I think that's how you pronounce your name, mate. But yeah, I'm excited. Phillips, that's another one. I've not mentioned him. He's got a point to prove. Back early in the training, before everyone else. He didn't get the minutes, but I think it last season, I can't remember the exact, it was about 208 or 204. I can't remember which was the exact number, but last season he spent, let's say, 200 days injured. Out of the 365 days, Calvin Phillips was injured for 200 of those days. And the minutes were like lower than everybody else in the squad. So it's hard to say that he didn't prove himself last season. He didn't, because he didn't get the opportunity to, but it's not like we now can make our mind up one way or the other. I think he deserves a second chance purely because his track record isn't bad. In an England shirt, in the 2020, he won the Player of the Year for the whole year in the way that England played, as well as his Leeds performances as well. Under Bielsa, he looked a quality player, and he's got immense vision. One thing that he looks a bit laboured, doesn't he? He looks like he seems dead chilled. He seems like such a relaxed guy, which is the polar opposite of Pep Guardiola. He's such an intense character, Pep Guardiola. You can just see his eyes fluttering. He's always thinking. What can I do next? And what tactics? And Phillips just seems like, hey, chilled. So maybe Pep thinks he doesn't care. I don't know. I get the impression sometimes he's very like chilled about everything, but it doesn't matter how you look. You never judge a book by its cover. It doesn't matter how you look. As long as you play like you care, that's all that matters at the end of the day. So, morning, Darren. You okay, mate? How are you? Good to see some of the regular commenters as well talking. I rarely get to speak to you guys live. And I'm going to be doing that throughout the season as well. So this is the first of many. And I hope to get to know you guys better throughout the course of the season as well and build a good little community between us. He's got a body cam. What it's like to shake the hands of the Manchester City team. Must be pretty good. And scary, considering you're about to play against them. Just shaking the hand, I'll leave it there. I'd walk off after that. Be like, yeah, nice to meet you. Where's the tunnel? And I'd go and find the tunnel. I'm not playing against them. You having a laugh? Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Oh, you're not watching it, Darren? No, I'll tell you how it's going, mate. It's 1,200-0. By the way, it's not. But it's not kicked off yet, mate. But, yeah. Oh, thanks, mate. You can't hit the like button more than once. You can unlike it and then like it again. Maybe that could... I don't know how that works with the algorithm. I really appreciate you guys coming in. I was expecting it to be an empty chat, in all honesty, because this is the first live stream. New channel, small channel. I understand where I am in the YouTube algorithm. I'm a little speck right now, but the intention is to grow, and you guys commenting and liking like that, honestly, it's really, really appreciated. It means a lot to me. Thanks very much. Do appreciate it. But yeah, Ichimori, Matsubara, Hatanaka, Eduardo, Nagatu, Watanabe, Kida, Marcus Jr., Mizunuma, Lopez, and Elmer are your starting 11 for Yokohama. I dare anyone to say you know any of those players and you know what they're about. I know Andre Lopez, I believe his name is their top goal scorer, and Elba is a very flair player. That's all my research came to yesterday. It's not like you can't fake it. You can't fake football knowledge. You'll get found out. So this Yokohama team I know very, very little about. But there he is, Kovacic. That number's a bit mad on his back, isn't it? Oh, it's the Asian theme, I think. I think they've gone for the Japanese theme with the number font. Jasper, in answer to your question, I am going to stream. I'm not going to stream the game. It's going to be a watch along every season. And there maybe I'm working on something so I can bring you guys a little bit closer to the game. That graphic you can see alongside me, that's still... Here we go, kick off. Let's go. Back with the kanji. But this season, I'm working on something that's fixed what you see. That's not live. That won't update. That is just an image, a still image of the formation, substitutes. But I am working on something to get live information that isn't stolen as well. I know some channels just nick it off BBC and Sky Sports and things like that. I won't be doing that. It will be official. I might not be ready for the start of the season, but I'm working on something to get it live information to bring you closer to the games. Oh, Grealish over the top already. But... yeah, getting the information across to you guys. I want you to see the stats and the lineups and things like that, and the league standings. I want you to see the information about the game and bring you closer to the game and understand what's going on in the match more than a still image like that, because that isn't going to change, unfortunately. But it's better than nothing for now, isn't it? And it's pre-season. Mark Harris says their centre forward is called Ichikaka. Yeah. He found that hilarious. I'm finding it funny on your behalf, my friend. Vardan Time says, "Sweet, that's unwelcome. That is unwelcome celebrations. I don't know who celebrates like that. Some previous player who used to be good. Renat. Can't remember, mate. A has been. Hadley Clark, good to see you. Yeah, I agree, mate. I think you're going to see that. Hadley says there's going to see few subs coming on. I think that's going to be the case. I think that is going to be the case. We're going to see quite a few substitutions, probably at half-time, a whole barrage of substitutions. But Grealish nearly getting caught on the ball there. Throw into Yokohama near our corner flag. They take a quick one there. Calvin Phillips deals with it. But I'm trying to figure out the formation here as well. I think I was wrong. I think what you're seeing on your right is wrong. I think they've gone for a flat back four, so I had to take a guess. I went with what we ended the season last season. It looks like Kyle Walker's playing right back. Stones and Akanji are centre backs, right and left, and Ake is left back. Just in front of them is Calvin Phillips, what looks to be on his own. So my guess would be, there you go, Calvin. That's what I'm talking about. That's what he wasn't doing last season, receiving the ball from the goalkeeper and not taking a touch, hitting it first time to either fullback or even play it back to Ortega or Edison. Just be assured. He always seemed to want to take that extra touch or half second on the ball and dilly-dally with it. And now it seems like that was something he's been taught in training, and he's off. Like, first time, straight pass. But here's Grealish running down the ball. Kovacic out wide. Give it to Kovacic. Give it to him. There he does. Kovacic in the box. Twisting and turning. He's keeping the ball. Didn't choose to cross it. See, now John Stones has pushed forward alongside Calvin Phillips. So, we're back to a similar sort of look. for last season. So maybe it's John Stones has got that versatile role. There he is. John Stones is now defensive midfield, so I might have been wrong again. Like, Pep makes it so difficult for everyone to understand, doesn't he? He's just like, he's a genius, isn't he? Like, you can't argue it, because if we weren't getting the results, you'd be like, the man's an insane, like changing all these formations, like John Stones, centre-back, and sticking him in defensive midfield, and like people think he was like, ooh, like that, but it works, and the guy's more than capable of doing it, so he's not crazy, he's a genius, and there's a fine line between the two sometimes, but Phillips giving it away there, first time again, like I said, I think that's Marcus Jr., and Akanji comes across and deals with it. It was Walker, sorry. Walker comes across and deals with it. That's Marcus Jr. there. I recognise his face from my Google searches yesterday. Having a dig there from about 35 yards out. Flies over the bar. No worry for Ortega. But yeah, John Stone seems to be drifting into midfield, which I think he's going to be asked to drop into centre-back when we lose the ball. Yeah, there's Calvin Phillips doing a first-time pass, giving it away again. Bit of a warning there to Phillips, like, needs to be sharper on the ball. I mean, the ball given to him didn't really give him many options, but still, take it under your spell and keep the ball. Again, giving it away, City there. Phillips involved in the process of giving it away as well. Into the box, crossed in. Ortega, whoa, fumbling around. What is going on? Blimey heck. Goalmouth scramble. Ortega flapping at it a little bit there. Caught the ball. Luckily, an offside's been given. No goal. But Phillips again involved. It wasn't actually Phillips who gave it away. I think it was Alvarez dropping deep to receive the ball. And his first time pass goes past Phillips. And what a decision that is from the lino. Didn't even need VAR. But a bit of a wake-up call there for City. Bit of a dusting off the cobwebs, let's say. Dusting off the cobwebs. It is pre-season, let's not forget. Nothing to panic about just yet. Mark says what Pep's done with Stones is genius. I agree. Totally agree. And I agree Hadley as well. Good to see Phillips out there. You have to give him time. Allow him to say, nice little ball there to Grealish. Feeds it inside. Dealt with. Cleared by Yokohama. But yeah, I agree. Allow him to play. You know what I mean? Give him minutes. And now's the perfect time. Get him into the team. He himself needs to build his confidence. And if you drop him immediately from making a mistake, then how's that going to help his confidence? But, yeah, I think he deserves a little bit of a chance. He's got to prove himself. Cole Palmer picking it up on the right, attacking his fullback aggressively and holds the ball up well. He's using that confidence he's obviously got from the under-21 England performances. Clearly there, that was a nice bit of play from Palmer. Looked really confident, driving at his fullback. That's what you want to see. Trying to feed in Alvarez there. Kovacic, sorry, trying to feed it. The quality's not very good, by the way. This is City. I've got it on a 4K monitor behind me, and it makes no difference at all because it looks like it's 720p. It's like really blurry quality. So, I mean, anyone who's paid for your subscription, like, yeah, not great. The only way you are going to watch it, unfortunately, so this is as good as it gets. But the quality's not great, I must admit. Jack Lee. Good to see you. With the beers as well. The beer emoji. Sunday morning beer. Why not? Kovacic. Oh, he could have taken that himself. Ball comes over the top. Kovacic brings it down. 2-on-1 with Kovacic and Alvarez against the centre-back. And he just probably rushed it. Nice little run, though. He's onside. Maybe not. The lino didn't flag. I doubt VAR's involved in a pre-season friendly. Alvarez into the box. Grealish picking it up. Lays it back to Kovacic. Lays it back to Grealish. Grealish out wide. Alvarez having a shot. Back rebounds to Palmer. An absolute fluffer from Cole Palmer. Swing and a miss. His left foot swung at it, missed it, and the standing leg, the ball hits that and it bobbles the opposite way. That was rather embarrassing from Mr. Cole Palmer. Just as I was waxing lyrical about his confidence, that's not going to do it any good. But it's beer o'clock in somewhere in the world, absolutely. Jack, you might be somewhere else in the world, but I've got a feeling you're right bang in Manchester, mate, aren't you? You drink them beers, mate. Why the fuck not? Big Haaland for Ballon d'Or. Yeah. I mean, it's him or Messi. Messi because of the World Cup. I think the whole thing of, Alvarez sending through Cole Palmer. He's keeping the ball, other than that shot I just described, but Cole Palmer's keeping the ball well, which is good to see. But yeah, Haaland for Ballon d'Or, it's an interesting one, the Ballon d'Or, because it's never all about the players' individual performances, is it? It's normally about team accolades and trophies. Here we go. Alvarez. Oh, Alvarez tried linking up there with McAtee. First time I've seen him get hold of the ball there, McAtee. 9 minutes in, that's the first time I've said his name. Needs to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, but good to see him get the ball there. Linking up with Alvarez a little bit there. But yeah, for Messi to get the World Cup stands him in very good stead for the Ballon d'Or, doesn't it? That's the only problem. And his PSG performances, yeah, nothing to write home about at all. Bit of a letdown, actually, in comparison. I mean, I wonder if the club had more to say. And then you saw him on his debut, typical Messi for Inter Miami, scoring a free kick in the 94th minute to win the game on his debut for Inter. He just so good, isn't he, Messi? Like, so good. But yeah, for me, obviously, Haaland should win the Ballon d'Or, considering the treble and his individual performances. Because you talk about what Messi won. Yes, the World Cup performances were great. But you talk about Haaland and his actual performances, the goals that he scored for City. He was the reason we won our trophies. And I know Messi was probably a lot to do with why they won. Grealish having a long-range shot blocked. Messi was a lot of the reason why they won the World Cup, but you got to look at the full package of what Haaland did. For me, I think Haaland should edge it, but it will be him or Messi, isn't it? Beer o'clock in 50 minutes when is the pub not open near you, Mark? Well, that's what Tesco's for, mate. Stockport, to be precise. Yeah. I used to live in Bramhall, mate. Not anymore, but used to live in Bramhall. I used to know Stockport very well. It is, Hadley. It is a popularity contest. I agree completely. And I think it's just this... It doesn't feel right, the tournament. And it's like goalkeepers and defensive midfielders, centre-backs. And it's just like... It's a real showy trophy, isn't it? I never really feel like it's that good, and I don't know, like Ronaldo and Messi, like just fighting between them two, that made it more interesting because those two are of such equal standard and so like tit for tat, weren't they, in terms of like the quality, and then beneath them it was like everybody else, and now it has become everybody else. It's like, yeah, I don't know, not that. It's got there's more names involved, so I'm not sure it's going to have as much attention drawn to it because it's not Messi and Ronaldo. Still Messi's involved, but Ronaldo surely has nothing to do with the contest this season. But blooming heck, he's not slow, is he? Leaving Walker behind. Bloody hell, Walker. Talk about Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe. How about Elba? Bloody hell. Absolutely left him then. Alba just bursting past Kyle Walker there. Left him in his dust, mate. What was that? Kyle Walker. Get Pavard in. No, I'm joking. Yeah, Grealish picking it up out wide here. A little bit sloppy from City in this first 12 minutes, to be honest. But that's to be expected. Being pre-season, finding their feet. Palmer whips it into Alvarez. Ooh, just couldn't get... Wasn't Haaland sized, unfortunately. If he was the size of Haaland, he'd probably got on the end of that, but wasn't long enough. Hadley's from Bury. Good old Bury. Mark's from Holcombe Brook. Bury. So 2 Bury lads in. Nice. Rico Lewis country. Pretty sure he's from Bury. Pretty sure he is. Yeah. Hadley's good old Oldham from me. Wait, I'm confused. Oh, Hadley's replying to Mark. Hadley's from Oldham. Sorry, guys. Yeah, there we go. From Whitefield. Rico Lewis. What a ball. Oh, nearly. Ortega comes out. They're not looking bad, you know. The front three, Yokohama, they don't look bad. Like, they've got speed. They look agile, and they're causing problems. They're getting in behind, and that high press that I was talking about is evidently causing the City back line as well as Calvin Phillips a few problems here. But they're not pressing Ortega, so they've been coached. You don't press City's goalkeeper. You leave him. That's how you stop City. You don't press Edison. That's how we get past you. You have to leave them. And that's something with regards to Onana, by the way. And I'm looking forward to watching how City go up against Onana at United in the Manchester derby, because I think that's been it's a great signing for them. It's one that's... David De Gea is a huge problem for them. But now, look at Onana. He's very Edison-like. And I wonder if we're going to attack Onana like that. I bet we leave him. I bet we leave Onana with the ball and just look after the United defence when we play against them. But that's the Manchester derby. That's to come. Still not sure. What do you guys think about Manchester United's chances next season of even being a genuine threat? What do you think about United? What do you think? Who do you think is the number one threat to City in the Premier League next season? I'm interested to know, because I think it's a toss of a coin in terms of the threat between Arsenal and Liverpool. I wouldn't even have put Arsenal in there, if they hadn't made the signings that they'd made. The fact that they'd signed Declan Rice, Timber, Kai Havertz, I think that elevates them again and makes them hungrier again. I felt like they will have been hurting after last season. Now, they've gone and signed someone, so they'll feel like they've grown as a club, learned lessons from last season, be hungry and want revenge, to be honest, So without those signings, I think they'd have probably gone into this season feeling sorry for themselves, but they've added to the squad, and now that makes them a threat. Liverpool have addressed the midfield, Szoboszlai and McAllister, and that was their ageing midfield of Fabinho and Henderson, all on the way to Saudi Arabia as well. But who are your threats? Liverpool, Jonathan Lewis says. He's predicted as well, Yokohama 2, Man City 1. Yeah. It's not about the result today, though, mate, is it? It's all about getting the minutes under the belt, performances, learning the systems. But Hadley says, I think United, Ten Hag, more time with them. Yeah, I think Ten Hag's a good manager, I really do. I think that moment when they lost Grealish on the edge of the box, nearly broke for McAtee there, but... what was I going to say? The moment I thought Ten Hag's a good manager is when they lost 4-0 to Brentford, and the rumours about how he brought them all in for runs the next day. They all had to go on a 10-kilometre jogs around the training pitch, and he was there waiting for them. To me, it was like, okay, I'm going to punish the players, but I'm just as much to blame, so I'm going to run with you. When he did that, I thought, right, that's going to win some people over. And I think the work ethic that was good. I don't like to praise United too much, but I think they've got a good manager there, and he might slowly build. The problem with United is the board, the fact that their transfer policy is a joke, and they just don't operate that club in a good way. If you put our board behind Ten Hag, they'd be tearing up trees, United, right now. They would be ruining clubs. But they don't. We have our board, thank you very much. Mr. Sheikh Mansour and Khaldoon Mubarak, Fran Sariano and Shiki Bergenstein. They know what they're doing. And you just plot Pep Guardiola. It's the best club in the world. The best club. The way we are run is impeccable. You can talk, keeper, luckily he wasn't on his goal line there, but nearly got caught on the ball. Yokohama passing it around at the back. City not closing down the goalkeeper. Like I said, right down the middle for Lopez, who flicks it onto Ake. Ake now down the touchline. Grealish picking it up. Grealish has had a lot of the ball. Not done that much with it, but he's had a lot of the ball. He's kept it okay. Trying to link up with Alvarez as much as he can. Hadley says United need 2 more signings. I think you're right, mate. I don't think they're anywhere near. They need a goal scorer for United to genuinely challenge City. And that's the thing for United. The fact that Liverpool have grown, Arsenal have grown, City are City, Chelsea are likely to grow as well. You've got teams in the way of you. It's not just like, right, we've got to chase City. You've got to play against all these teams that are almost in a mini league below us in terms of their standards right now, because City are with the treble winners. So we have to be considered in a league of our own, and Arsenal and Liverpool are the closest to breaking into that league. But the rest, you want them to eat each other, don't you? You want Liverpool and United to draw against each other when they play, or one wins at home and the other wins away, and take points off each other. Meanwhile, we're just totting up the points. It's going to be hard this season to get off to a good start, considering the Club World Cup. It's always in the way. It'd be interesting. I would like to know. Oh! That's Alvarez tackling the goalkeeper there, closing him down, got his foot on it, and it's gone out for a goal kick by the looks of it. But that's what we love about Alvarez. Tevez reminds me of that. Look at him charging at the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper thinks he's got all the time in the world. He saw his opportunity that the goalkeeper was dilly-dallying, and he got a tackling. Could have gone anywhere, that one. But no, with regards to the FIFA Club World Cup, I'd like to know, has anyone won the Premier League and won the Club World Cup in the same season? I'm asking the question. I don't actually know the answer to that question, but it'd be interesting to know, has anyone won the Club World Cup in the same season they've won the Premier League or the Champions League? Not the next season I'm talking about, like Club World Cup. I'm talking about the same season, because it does seem like it's kind of in the way a little bit, and it hinders your momentum. If we got off to a good start, then great. Then we could maybe have a cushion to go away. But if we go away to the Club World Cup and we're 4 points behind before we've even travelled, then we play our games out there and we come back, we could be 8 or 9 points behind, albeit with games in hand, but it's pressure that you don't want. Yokohama whipping across in there. Cole Palmer trying to close him down. Akanji clears the cross. Outside City's area here. Elba whipping another one in just over everyone's head. Out for a goal kick. Stones and Akanji, though, I mean, we shouldn't be conceding any goals through the middle today with them two. Not in this half. Hadley asks, does anyone think Liverpool has lost their mentality monster status after a bad season and losing a few key players? I wouldn't want to put my hat in the ring for Liverpool one way or the other right now. I would like to see the first 2 or 3 games of Liverpool. Mainly because I know what they're capable. They're the only team that has pushed us as hard as as anybody in this Pep Guardiola era. Arsenal, obviously, last season, that really wasn't that hard a push. In the end, we could afford to go away to Brighton, draw, and lose to Brentford. So in the end, that's not hard, and still finish 4 points ahead of them, mind you. So that's not being pushed. They pushed us in the middle, and they Lopez and John Stones manhandling Lopez onto the floor, and Lopez throws himself to the ground like a sack of potatoes. But John Stones doing his usual business there. But yeah, Arsenal didn't push us last season in comparison to Liverpool, and the way they pushed us wasn't the same. Not comparable. I don't think that it was that level of intensity, and the fact that we were allowed to, like I said, switch off against Brighton and Brentford and rest for the Champions League. Liverpool wouldn't have allowed us to do that. In their 98 point winning season, then, and when we got the 99 and they got the 98, have you ever seen anything like that? And the fact that Arsenal still finished 4 points behind us. And that's why I'm worried about Liverpool, because you know that they can do it, and Klopp can get them playing like that. But you're absolutely right, though. The players are the ones that have got to do it at the end of the day. Salah's going to be hungry, but he is getting on a bit. I mean, you're wondering if injuries start creeping into Liverpool, because they're a couple of injuries away from being a struggling side again, Liverpool. Even though their starting 11 is frightening. They lost Luis Diaz last season. You wonder if Luis Diaz being back will be a major boost. It is like a new signing for them. But if they lost Salah, I think that would kill them. If they lost him for a couple of months, they'd kill them, that would. But yeah, John Stones there, manhandling, just looking at the replay there. Nothing in that. Ortega's chilling past everyone. And he's nearly got caught with it as well. A bit of a dodgy ball there from Ortega. He came really far out, past Stones. McAtee, what looks to be a poor touch. But I mean, he didn't. I say it was a poor touch. Ortega fired it at him. Good luck controlling that, mate. Yeah, fucking rocket straight at him. Tries to bring it down. Poor touch from McAtee, considering it was a bad pass, though. But then McAtee fouls him in the end. Pep doesn't look happy. He's just done his usual slump into his chair. Here we go. Yokohama breaking through. Ake mops it up. Ortega dilly-dallying with it again. Oh. They look good, you know. They don't look like a bad outfit at all. Walker flicks it in. Again, giving it away. And they're in again. Marcus Jr. This is looking defensively on the ball. This is where the possession of City's back four don't look comfortable on it at all. Walker with a little chip ball there to Kovacic, that was. Kovacic was given virtually no chance of bringing it down. He was intercepted, and then they're in again. Luckily, Ortega snaps it up, but a little bit rusty. A little bit rusty. Lache says, Johnny, I am Canadian and can't watch City Plus. It's just for the UK. Sorry about that, mate. Darren says, to be fair, this team thrives on coming from behind, so I'm okay if that happens. Yeah, that is it, Darren. Absolutely, mate. I think we have this fear factor now. Here, hold on a minute. Cole Palmer on the edge of the area. Has a shot. Oh, good save. Good save. Flying into corner ball. Nice bit of play there. Nice crisp. Cole Palmer's decision-making is the one area of his game I want to see him improve. Last season, he was passing when he should be shooting, and he was shooting when he should be passing. That was the right decision. Nice little 1-2, I think, with Kovacic. Or was it McAtee? Oh, yeah. Quick corner taken. McAtee linking up. Kovacic and Palmer and McAtee. Little triangle being built there. Cole Palmer on the touchline. Looking to beat his fullback. Chopping and churning. Maris Ali beats him. Down to the touchline. Whips it in. Oh, Akanji on his heels. Palmer pulls it back. He gets all the way almost into the 6-yard box. If Palmer can just tuck that back to Akanji, which he does, in fact. Look at Alba go. Is that Alba? Christ, he just rinsed Walker. He's not slow, is he? Here comes Jack Grealish picking up the ball. Yeah, in answer to Darren just then. Yeah, City coming back from behind is something that it's a script that seems pre-written now, doesn't it, at the start of the season? That even if City go ahead, the fear in the eyes of the Arsenal players last season, knowing that even when they were 8 points ahead at one point, I'm sure they were 10 at some point, at one point, during because they had an early kickoff. I'm sure they were 10 points ahead at one point. Kovacic there trying to find a through ball to McAtee, didn't come through, but you could see the fear in Arsenal's eyes last season when we were chasing them, and they knew that if they dropped any points, City could smell it. We can smell blood. We can sniff it. And they did. They started to collapse, and that collapse just turned into a capitulation at the end. And Liverpool as well, they'll know that. All the clubs now seem to have that ingrained into their mentality that, right, we've got a lead against City, but we know they can come back. So the fear factor, hang on a minute. Andre Lopez giving Akanji a run for his money here, going down one-on-one. He's into the area, gets a right foot shot away. Ortega saved, rebound. Lopez picks it up. Goal for Lopez. Ortega. You got to question mark the defenders there. Question marks for the defender. Ortega gets a good hand to it. It fumbles and drifts into the Rodri area where he scored in the Champions League for City. And the little twat does a little Haaland celebration as well. The cocky little... Yeah, you got to hand it to him. You're on the big stage. Why not do the Haaland celebration? But, yeah, that is 1-0 to Yokohama. I can't say they don't deserve it, to be honest. I think they deserve it. They've been the better side so far, and they've been the most potent. But yeah, Ortega, Phillips caught a bit on his heels. Stones, again, a bit flat-footed. Akanji was beaten in very easily there. Stones, like, dilly-dallying, didn't get his across to deal with the rebound. Ortega maybe could have deflected that somewhere a little less dangerous because he drops it right into the danger zone for anyone who can pick that up. But it's not like he got a first-time touch. The fact that Lopez was able to follow on from his shot, control it, and then turn and beat John Stones with the attempted tackle. So 1-0 Yokohama, fully deserved. But yeah, pre-season. Don't forget, pre-season. Got to keep reminding myself. They are, Darren. They're fully match fit near the end of their season. So we are going up against a fully ready, raring to go, Yokohama. Did they just take the time then on that? I think they have got VAR. The way the ref took his time then. Goal, no offside, little sign come up. They've got VAR in pre-season. It must be because of they must have it in Yokohama, in the stadium. I'm surprised at that. How serious are we taking this? Well, they are, obviously, and I think it's good. It's good for them to take it seriously. I mean, for the lads themselves, there you go. McAtee looking to answer questions straight away. Oh, absolute crunching tackle there. And he stayed down as well. McAtee there. Looks injured. Hopefully he can pick himself back up. Crossed in there from Yokohama and deflected by Marcus Jr. out for a goal kick. Could go 2-0 down here if we're not careful, boys. LPG, saving all our energy for João Cancelo FC next. Not sure about that. Jack, Lee, you've got me wanting a beer now. This is water. What was I thinking? 11:30. Hey, he stayed injured, Jack. Jack Lee. I'm talking to Jack Lee still. McAtee, not Jack Lee. Bet you wish you were on the pitch, Jack Lee, though, don't you? Probably not, actually. It looks quite warm, and you've had a beer, so probably not. But yeah, McAtee's staying down here, holding his top of his knee. It was a crunching tackle. And he ends up flipping. He rotates his whole body, ends up flying around, does a little 180 spin as he lands on his arse, and he's squinting there. He looks in pain, but he's up on his feet, walking. That's good. That'd be horrible. Injured in pre-season, so his chance is gone. That would be heartbreaking for McAtee. That would be. Hopefully he stays fit and gets all 3 games to showcase what he's about. That's what we want to see. Black Rambo says, well, I woke up, had a rum and coke and 3 lines of cocaine at 8:30 this morning. So you must have quite a bit of energy then, my friend. Like, quite a bit of energy, raring to go. It's just pre-season, mate. Do you know what I mean? Do you need to get that fired up for pre-season? I was like, yeah, pre-season! Like, yeah, come on. Yeah, go for it, mate. Pep Guardiola looks unhappy, slumped in his chair. He doesn't hide his body language, does he? If you wanted a vote of confidence from the players, from the manager, sorry, if you're a player and you look over at the touchline and you saw, if you made a mistake and you hope, sometimes he's like, yeah, well done, because it's the attempt that he talks about. If you make an attempted pass and he thinks that was right, Pep Guardiola's like, yeah, well done, keep going. Even though it went out for a throw-in and you gave it away, he's always applauding. But if you did something that he disagrees with, his body language, man, he's just like, oh God, like, what was that? And he just collapses in his chair, like, disgusted with you. Like, oh, if you watch that as a player, like, oh, you pissed off, are you, Pep? Yeah, shit. Marco Visser, love this channel. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. Watch Wide Web. Good luck, mate. You're going to do very well with watch-alongs. Thanks, mate. That's really, really kind of you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. First one of the season. I did 4 last season. Last season wasn't really committed to the channel. I was dipping my toe in the water. All I did was talk about I did match reactions, and that was it, basically. I did 4 watch-alongs just to see what it was about. Again, dipping my toe in the water. This season, though, going for it. Might as well. Enjoy doing it. Enjoy talking to you guys and building a city community. But yeah, for those that don't know, I've been a season ticket holder for 32. I was a season ticket holder for 32 years. My first game was when I was 3, thanks to my mum and my dad taking me, sitting in between them with my little Thomas the Tank Engine book to read at half time. I remember that. I don't remember that. Oh, here we go. Phillips with an out shot. Oh. But Darren says, don't become a gold bridge. Well, no. I mean, I like to talk sense. One thing I will say about Goldbridge is, like, City fans might not like to hear this, but he's built a massive community I totally disagree with pretty much everything that comes out of his mouth when it comes to football. He talks utter bollocks. But in terms of actually creating a community, and I can testify to this now, considering I've been doing it for the last month or so, it's hard work. It's not easy. It isn't easy to do what he does. It isn't. But I do think he's become almost like a caricature of himself. Like he's almost become a walking meme factory. Like I think he's playing up to his own stupidity now. Here we go. Alvarez plays it out wide to Grealish. Grealish on the left. Grealish tucks it down to the left. Ake in the middle. Oh, poor touch from Alvarez. Opportunity there to bring it under his spell. If he did that, he'd get his shot away, but he couldn't do it. Good little link-up play there from Grealish and Ake. That's more like it, Blues. But, yeah, don't become a goal bridge. No, I won't become a goal bridge. I won't become a goal bridge. Also, my name's Jonny. That's my real name. So, like, there's no alter egos here. You know, there's no pretending to be someone else or anything like that. But I do respect the channel that he's grown. You've got to put anyone who can create a channel with 1.6 million subscribers. Fair play. Do you know what I mean? It's not easy. But if you could pick one City player to sell, who would it be? João Cancelo. Pretty simple for me. I know he's a good player. It's just the problems that comes with it. You get Cancelo, you get the package, you get the player that can perform outstandingly well and do pretty unique things. Those like outside the boot crosses, lovely to watch. He's a very capable player, but I'd rather a happy training ground. I'd rather a happy team and a happy club without babies spitting their dummies out because they're not getting the minutes they want. No one gets the minutes they want in a City shirt. No one does. You have to accept that. Even the players that are getting the most minutes probably want to play more. Here we go. Walker overlap. Cole Palmer with a shot. He should have laid in Walker there. That's what I'm talking about with decision making. You pass there. You don't shoot. Walker with an overlap. Walker's in. Get into the byline. Easy. Cole Palmer instead cuts in on his left. He sees the overlap, but he goes for the shot instead. And that's what Cole Palmer's got to work on, is the decision making. Passing when he should be shooting and shooting when he should be passing, and right there he should have passed. Do you know that the term typical City is not valid anymore? Absolutely, mate. I know that the name of this channel is in irony. You know what I mean? It's mocking that old term. That's the reason I'm called Typical City, because this is Typical City now. I say it in my outro of the videos. This is Typical City now, winning silverware, and that's Typical City. But good to see. Sub to the Mancunian Way and Big Steve MCFC in the chat. Always been nice with your words to me, mate. I do appreciate the kind words, supporting me and asking people to subscribe on my part. Oh, Yokohama are in, and it's 2-0. Simple as that. That was a open as a book. That was clear. 2-0. Oh, wasn't good watch. That was not a good watch. Bit easy. So, why did Walker there is out of position, miles out of position, and then they've just gone down the left and he just whips it across the whole back four, just a simple pass across the whole back four. Akanji's out of position, Ake's out of position, Ake's like this, holding his hands in the air like, where are you guys? Where are you? 2-0 Yokohama. Oh, not looking good. Camera is on Kovacic, and they're wondering if they're trying to highlight a mistake that he made. I didn't see a mistake from Kovacic. I saw Walker well out of position. City getting battered everywhere we go. Spencers and Mark. Marks and Spencers, Spencers and Mark. Percy Pigs, my friend. Don't worry about this game too much. We lost to Liverpool in the Community Shield. We lost to Leicester years ago with an Iheanacho penalty. An Ake mistake, I remember that, in the Community Shield. So don't worry about it, the pre-season. Even the Community Shield is one, obviously it's a trophy and I care enough about it that I want to win it and go, yeah, we won it. But the following season, we've often had bad pre-seasons and gone on to do incredible things in the season. McAtee looking a bit lost there. Went down a dead end, really. Got stuck with two defenders in front of him and had to turn around. Looking a bit short of ideas, to be honest. Couple of players are controlling the ball well. I think Grealish hasn't made a mistake, which at pre-season, that's what you're really focusing on. What's your levels like? And I made a video about, is Jack Grealish partying too hard? It doesn't look like he's been to Ibiza for 7 days and Vegas for 7 days and drank the world's entire consumption of alcohol. Oh, Alvarez in. Nice little touch. Little dink. Oh, chips it over. Tries to chip it over the keeper. Offside anyway. Wouldn't have counted. But Alvarez with a long ball over the top. Alvarez receives the long ball. Sorry, I think it was Stones. They've played on from the offside. Here comes Lopez counter-attacking. It's going to be 3-0 here in a minute. Lopez plays it into Marcus Jr. Marcus Jr. to a player I don't know who it is. I try to highlight them. I can't get it right. The quality of the stream's pretty poor from City, to be honest. So it's already hard enough to recognise who's who, but I can recognise Alba and Marcus Lopez, and Marcus Jr. as well. But yeah, they look like they're going to get a third, if anything. But here comes City. Kovacic playing it out wide to Cole Palmer. On his own, 1v1, can he beat his man? He's slowed it down quite well, Palmer, but he's never really taken him on. I'd like to see him take him on, try something different. Grealish with a lovely touch. Kovacic plays the ball out to Grealish and brings it down beautifully. Grealish there. Grealish plays it out to Cole Palmer. In the box, corner of the edge of the area. This time makes the right decision. Plays it to Kyle Walker. Cuts it inside. Alvarez on the penalty spot. First time shot. John Stones smashes it. Top corner. What a goal. That's what I'm talking about. Cole Palmer. Right decision. Should have done that 2 minutes ago. He gets the ball. Nice little back heel. Down the side. Outside the defence. Kyle Walker bursting out around the outside. Cuts it inside. Alvarez receives the ball with his back to goal. Awareness to just lay it off. Little touch to John Stones, who just nonchalantly just smashes it. Is he even a smash? He just, a hard pass, just guides it into that top left-hand corner. A beautiful finish. What a goal that is. John Stones with the technique. Look at that. And he doesn't even move after it. He just looks at himself like, and what? And what? I think he just brushes the dust off his shoulder and goes, yeah, that was acceptable. I'll take that. Fireworks going off. City have scored in pre-season. Like, the most unbelievable fireworks show just went off outside the stadium for some reason. But, yeah, I'll take it. 2-1 City. There we go. No, not 2-1 City. 2-1 Yokohama. But, yeah, back in the game again. There we go. That was a good goal, that. That was the City we know. That was the City we recognise. There we go. LPG says, told you not to panic. I wasn't panicking. Like, Johnny Stones. Calvin Phillips with a nice little ball. John Stones deciding to play right wing at the minute. As you do, Mr. Stones. You do what you want, mate, after that goal. Cole Palmer tucking inside. Plays a nice diagonal ball over to Jack Grealish. Grealish brings it down well again. Nearly beats his man. Got lucky that he got the ball back there. Grealish tucks it inside. Kovacic, turn. You're in the area, mate. Crosses it. Oh, nearly got a tap in there for Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer just couldn't get in front of his marker. But Kovacic, with all the time in the world, and probably didn't realise how much time he had. He didn't even turn. He had the opportunity to turn quicker than that. But he didn't. Needs to sharpen up a little bit there, Kovacic. Be aware of your surroundings. Here he is again. Kovacic, short one. McAtee, left foot, whips in a lovely ball. Back post. Ake, off the bar. Oh, with a tower. He didn't even need to tower his header. It was just straight. McAtee with a delicious cross. Bonk, straight onto the head. He barely needs to break stride. Little jump. Straight there, off the top of the bar. If anything, he should have hit the target. He should have hit the target there. I think that was a poor header. I mean, close because he hit the bar, but just get a little bit more. It was a little jump a little bit more, and you could have got that down a little bit more. But here we go. Oh, it's in. Keeper's messed up, and it's 2-2. Keeper fucked up massively. Calamitous mistake from Ichimori. Ichimori with an absolute howler. Calvin Phillips closes him down. Brilliant play. I think it was Calvin Phillips. Closes it down. Lands at the feet of Alvarez. Cool and composed. What's he thinking there? 2-2. back in the game again. And it's a bit against the run of play, in all honesty. A bit against the run of play. I think they were going to more likely to make it 3. And all of a sudden it's 2-2. That's what we do to you. That's what City do. Yes. Just like the Villa game, says Darren. A little bit less riding on this game, but I see the comparison. I see the comparison. The king of comeback, says LPG. Absolutely. Who's your favourite City player? Justin Plays asks. In the current squad, Haaland, because he's just ridiculous. It's very closely followed. Probably, I'm torn between Rodri now because of his performances last season and De Bruyne. But of all, Yokohama looking to get their lead back, crossing the ball, a nice little cross as well, but no one on the end of it. City switching off there, but yeah, in terms of all time, probably David Silva. David Silva is my all-time City favourite, but going back old school, Sean Goater. I love Sean Goater. He was quality. And Richard Dunn. I loved watching Richard Dunn. All-time own goal scorer as well. So not only was he an amazing player and just worked so hard for City and he was so committed to the value, he brought such a good comedic value as well to the team. He always made you laugh how many own goals he'd get during the course of a season. Yeah. But LPG thinks Ake is our most underrated player. You're not far wrong there, mate. I don't think he gets the accolades he deserves. Last season, he was absolutely immense. Oh, Marcus Jr. in the middle of the box. John Stones mops it up. John Stones, is he going to be? Do we need a new defensive midfielder? Do we really? John Stones looks like he can do this job, no problem. Ake and Alvarez, there's a bit more of a gel. Oh, I say that to cursed them. Grealish getting caught on the ball there. Alvarez. I was about to say that City are gelling a little bit. Some of the play is looking a little bit crisper. And then Alvarez goes and gives a sloppy ball to Grealish and forces Grealish into making the foul. Mark Harris, Colin Bell. Before my time, mate, I know a lot about him. Thanks to my dad. King Clancy, of course. Vinny Company, yeah. How did I not mention Vincent Company? Richard Dunn, Vincent Company, yeah. Vincent Company. Yeah. Yeah, I love Vincent Company. What a hero he is. Just like... He's the epitome of captain, isn't he? He is the epitome. Yeah, Richard Dunn, red card legend, yeah. Michael Ball, who remembers him as well? He was a red card legend. But I want Bob to play today, says Marco Visser. I agree. I think you're going to see him. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him. Whether he comes on at half-time for the whole team. McQuarrie says, Niall Quinn is my favourite player. Yeah. I remember Niall Quinn, him alongside Paul Walsh. Little and large. Could we see that this season? Haaland and Alvarez, little and large, going back to the Quinn and what whipped in from Yokohama and cleared by Akanji with a good header. But yeah, could we see little and large? I don't think Pep will ever play a 2 as an out-and-out 2. You know, I think it will be more of a little and large, like Alvarez drops a little bit, tucks in more of as a 10 than 2 totally fixed strikers. But I don't see why they can't play together. They did it a fair bit last season. But Yokohama looking to get their lead back before half-time. 46 minutes in, are we? Yeah, 46 minutes in. That's flown by. Over the top. Got to be offside. Get your flag up. Get your flag up, and now he does. Ortega plays on anyway. Oh, it's been an alright half, considering we got back into it. Really sloppy from the defence. That's the area of the pitch that needs work. Cole Palmer indicated to himself that he needs to make better decisions. There's the half-time whistle. Blues, what do you think? What do you think of that first half if you're watching? But, bear with me, just sort the clock out. Trying to reset it for you. Back to 45 minutes. But yeah, 2-2. Calvin Phillips closing down the keeper well to get it back to 2-2. John Stones with an outrageous finish. So calm and calculated. Spencer Mark says, warm-up is good. Absolutely. Latter part was much better. McQuarrie says, absolutely. Again, Haaland straight on the pitch there. Looking like they're going to be bringing on Haaland. I wish this graphic was live for you. I really wish it was, because I'd like to be able to rotate it and bring you guys closer to the information so you don't need me to explain every single detail to you and more the important stuff. But Kevin De Bruyne looks like he's getting warmed up. They're not even going down the tunnel. Some of them looks like they're staying on the pitch. Foden there warming up. Haaland's on the pitch. But, yeah, Gomez there as well. Foden's got... he needs to stay injury-free this season, Foden, because it ruined... It wasn't even anything he could do anything about, in fairness to him. The poor guy got... Was it gallbladder stones or kidney stones or something like that? I can't remember what it was, but it required an operation. That is something that... Nothing to do with football or a occupational hazard, like they say. It was just one of those things. It can happen to anybody at any time, no matter what job you're in. So it's harsh of me to say he should stay injury-free. But outside of that, he does still pick up the odd little injury here where he's right in bang form, and then all of a sudden he's out for 2 or 3 weeks, and someone else has to come in, and then it's hard to get back into this City squad once you've lost your place. Same for Ake. Can he stay fit? Because I can't remember who said it, but someone said Ake is the most underrated player at City. I think he's right. He's so underrated. And it was a case of him disappearing last season. A lot of the problems was he spent 3 or 4 weeks out last season, so he lost his spot. But when he's fit, straight back in. Pep believes in him playing left back and left centre back as well. But yeah, part of the 3 centre backs as well. But Marco Vissa says, I missed Foden at the end of last season. Yeah, he's... do you know what? There's a little moment in the Champions League that no one talks about, and that's the Foden that I want to see every game. He nearly scored a worldie in that Champions League final. Now, it's like, obviously you need to go back and watch the highlights to remind yourself if you've not, but he diagonal runned and zigzagged between about 3 or 4 Inter Milan players, ended up getting on, and if he could have just finished that was game over, Champions League won, and what a way it would have been to win it. But that is the Foden you want to see more of, the one who just picks the ball up, just looks ahead of him and sees defenders and goes, I don't care about any of you. None of you scare me. I'm getting past you. Left, right, through your legs. Anyway, I'm getting past you. And yeah, I want to see more of that from Phil Foden. But just looking at the decision-making here from Cole Palmer, seeing the goal back, and it is all down to him that we got into this position. It was only 5 minutes before that he made the exact same decision. That he was presented with the same decision to make, and he made the wrong one by going for the shot instead of laying off Walker, who's overlapping him. This time he does make the decision with a cute little back heel into Walker's path. Walker doesn't need to break his stride, and he whips it into Alvarez. Walker does. Alvarez controls it nicely. His touch hasn't been great, Alvarez, but this time it was perfect. Brings it down, lays it off to Stones, and Stones just smashes it into the top left-hand corner. Lovely, lovely finish. This could be the breakout in the middle for Foden. I'd love to see him through the middle. Absolutely. I think, yeah, David Silva is who he reminds me of. But David Silva with goals. You know, David Silva was not a stats. I was mentioning the other day about the importance of stats, and they are important, stats, of course they are, but you look at David Silva, there are players out there that are the pass before the assist. You know, the pass that's the most important one, the one that breaks the line of the defence to get in the player who's made the run, who then just has to tap it across for a tap-in for whoever's in the middle. David Silva was always that guy who would break the line, similar to how Cole Palmer just broke the line for Walker, and then Walker's the one who gets to cross it, and had Alvarez taking it first time. But David Silva's stats aren't that good. They're not that good at all, like in terms of goals and assists. But you can't tell me David Silva isn't one of the greatest players to ever don a Manchester City shirt. Absolutely incredible what he can do. But his stats aren't great. So Grealish as well, I think he's another player. He needs to up his stats because he is in a position where, I mean, David Silva being in the attacking role, I think if you ask Phil Foden to drop into the middle and be in what Kovacic is playing today and McAtee is playing today and where De Bruyne and Gundogan plays, in that role, I don't think it's as important to get goals and assists. It is, but it's like, yeah, are you just playing well? That's the most important thing. Like David Silva, can you kill teams with those killer passes? So I think you're absolutely right, though, Darren. Playing Foden in the middle of the park is exciting. I think Pep thinks that too. He's even said it, that he sees his future in the middle. And the fact that you look at the numbers that Phil Foden's trophies as well, the numbers he's putting on the board, the trophies that he's winning. How old is he now? He's 22, isn't he? 22, I think. That's scary. That is scary. That, I mean, in years to come, we'll be looking at Phil Foden in the same bracket as Paul Scholes of Man United, Steven Gerrard of Liverpool, Frank Lampard of Chelsea, and in that same bracket, of player that is just oozes Manchester City. It's just Mr. Manchester City. And why not add a few more to that? It doesn't have to be the one guy. Obviously, United did it. They had Beckham, Neville, and Scholes, and like numerous players. We could do the same as well. There's no reason why not. With the academy that we have, the money that it's producing, the likeliness is one of those players isn't worth selling. One of them could well be keeping. McAtee, could it be him? Cole Palmer, could he be still with us at the come the start of the season? With rumours of him going to Brighton. Looking at him, I think Pep's believing in him a little bit. I think maybe Pep sees Cole Palmer as getting more minutes, and we don't need a Riyad Mahrez replacement because maybe he trusts Cole Palmer. I think the average City fan might look at that and say, no, I want to see a high caliber player, a player that guarantees things, because it's nice to see young players coming in, but they carry a certain degree of risk with them, don't they? They come with a risk that they might not, the head side of the game, they're being headstrong and mentally capable to deal with the pressures of being a Premier League footballer and a Champions League footballer at 19 years old and 20 years old. It's a big ask. It's a big ask. And to ask him to do it throughout the whole season. No, I didn't say Giggs, mate. Yeah. Giggs. Yeah. My smirk should say enough about Ryan Giggs, but Wirtz, yeah, he's been linked with us a lot, but I think if we sign Wirtz, that spells the end for Calvin Phillips. I don't see any room for Calvin Phillips if we were to go and get Wirtz. He has been linked with us before. Good player. But, yeah. Douglas Wright, good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Another person I recognise. Palmer was good. I thought he looked more confident. I agree, mate. Absolutely. I agree. Only that one moment that I mentioned prior to the Stones goal, prior to that was the moment where he made the poor decision, and that's something that he needs to work on. He seems to be, struggle with that aspect of the game, and, you get milliseconds to decide, don't you? You do. But I'm excited for the second half now, seeing who's going to come on. I wouldn't be surprised to see a flurry. Haaland, I've missed him. I've missed him so much. I sound obsessed, but maybe I am. I do. Do anyone else just get the phone out and just go, Erling Haaland goals? Do you know what I mean? And you're like bored. And it's like, yeah, you sit there and you just feel good. You just feel good watching it, don't you? It's like, look at that. Look at him. Look at Haaland. He's good, isn't he? Great. I love him. I miss him so much. But I didn't even think I was going to miss him. I thought I'll miss the whole team. I loved watching all the highlights back and every player. But he's got the X factor, hasn't he, Haaland? He has that little something, just unusualness is the best way to describe him. And I mean that in a nice way, not in like a freak way. I mean, like, some people were calling him a freak. I think he doesn't take kindly to those words of robot and freak and monster and things like that. But people mean well. They don't mean to insult him. And I think I've heard he doesn't take to those words that well, but, they are trying to compliment him. And when I say it, I'm trying to compliment him, because he is a phenom, of a human being. And he's just unorthodox, isn't he? The way he runs and the way he covers the ground and the way he just moves is just unusual. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him play. Yeah, I really love Sergio Gomez. I truly believe he could be at the same level of Roberto Carlos. I'm not sure about that, mate. That's a huge claim, McQuarrie. But I like to think that he's got a place in City's squad this season. I just don't want to see him in defence, though. And I think if you're going to be Roberto Carlos, I mean, he was a good defender, Roberto Carlos. He was okay, but I watched, who remembers the United Real Madrid game where Ronaldo, the number 9 Brazilian Ronaldo, scored a hat-trick at Old Trafford. I think United won 4-3, but United got knocked out 6-4 on aggregate. I watched that game randomly. It just came up on my feed and I ended up watching it. And Roberto Carlos had an absolute mare of a game. He was all over the place, but there is no questioning what he can do with the ball. Ask him to defend, maybe not so good, but I think Gomez is the same thing, maybe. And I don't think Gomez is as good as Roberto Carlos on the ball. I mean, everyone, that iconic image of that against France, that free kick. I can't see Gomez ever doing something like that. But I would like to see Gomez playing more advanced, playing more away from being a threat to us in terms of making a mistake in a City shirt in the defence, and more along the lines of being a threat to the opposition in the attacking third. Phillips is another one, deserves a second season. Marco Vissa says, if Phillips gets more minutes, I think he'll be good. Yeah, it's a confidence game, and he seems quite... Who isn't? Everyone pretends to be confident, but there's levels to confidence. Some people are unbreakable. You cannot penetrate their confidence, and no matter how much you say or how bad they're playing. Erling Haaland springs to mind when I think about an impenetrable confidence. Goalkeepers have to have that impenetrable confidence, otherwise you're a failure as a goalkeeper. I look at Joe Hart, and it's sad to say, Pep, I love Joe Hart, and he made the right decision in getting rid of him because he doesn't suit the way we want to play out from the back. But I think Pep broke him. I hate to say it, and it's not. I don't really blame Pep, because Pep was looking in the interests of City. He was looking at City as a club, and I need a goalkeeper that can play with his feet. I don't mean anything by it. I don't take it personally. But after he left City, every club he went to, Spurs on loan, Celtic on loan, and Burnley. I'm sure he was at Burnley at one point. He didn't do well anywhere. He was making mistakes week after week, and that's what I'm talking about, confidence. Phillips strikes me as the type that needs to have his confidence built up. Give him game time. Give him the chance to prove himself again. So, yeah, LPG, has anyone seen the Phillips documentary? No, I really want to watch it. I do want to watch it. I wasn't that excited about it. I actually was thinking, what are Amazon playing at? The two most recent footballing documentaries are Peter Crouch and Calvin Phillips. Like, what were they thinking? Like, what? Of all the two players in the world you could have picked, you picked Peter Crouch and Calvin Phillips, the most random players ever. And I've not watched either of them. They're probably quite entertaining. But Phillips has said a few things about the comments that Pep made last season about his weight, being overweight. He went onto BBC radio and spoke about how it hurt him and how he was like, yeah, he struggled. And again, that's what I'm talking about when I talk about confidence, is it hurt him to hear those things about his weight. And someone who's a professional footballer, you take that personally, even if it's a few pounds, but at that level it matters. So that's, to me, has made the documentary sound more appealing. I want to see if he said anything else. Probably not, because he wouldn't be in the team, knowing Pep Guardiola, if he'd badmouthed Pep Guardiola, similar to how Ferguson did with Jaap Stam, when Jaap Stam wrote his autobiography on his time during United, still at United, and he spoke about Fergie and how he asked them to dive. He said, and he wrote in his book that Ferguson's instructions were, go down if you feel a touch. Ferguson was offended, chased him to a petrol station after hearing he'd left the training ground, chased him into a petrol station, got into his car and sat next to Jaap Stam and said, I'm selling you to Lazio first thing in the morning. And then he was gone, and that was it. I wouldn't be surprised if Pep is as cutthroat as that. But he's not done it with João Cancelo, has he? Cancelo's in the squad. You're wondering if he's going to get minutes today. If Cancelo doesn't come on today, I think we've got our answer. I think that's the answer. If he plays, I'm talking as I'm looking at it right now, Cancelo's in the touchline. Speak of the devil. Cancelo's got a City shirt on, warming up. He's not really warming up. Everyone else is warming up. He stood there picking his nose, actually. But everyone else is warming up. But it looks like subs are about to happen. Rodri, Gomez, Ortega's still the man by the looks of it. It looks like he's got some kitchen roll. He's obviously spilt something. There he is. I've missed him. Oscar Bob, Bernardo Silva, Erling Haaland, Diaz, Foden. Is it? I saw his face. Oscar Bob's got his shirt on. Bernardo Silva, he shaved his head. Not sure what I make of it. I'm hardly a hair connoisseur myself, but I mean, who am I to judge a man by his haircut? But we've got some interesting Barnetts, haven't we, in our squad? Oscar Bob coming on with a nice little cushiony. I always wonder what it's like to head a ball with an afro. I wonder if you can just like catch it in your head. Just like catch the ball and then run away with it in your head. like Fellaini, just looked like really easy to head the ball. Erling Haaland he's got rid of the dreadlocks. I was expecting the dreadlocks as well. He's someone who's got unusual hair. Should we keep talking about hair for the whole second half? That'll be some really exciting viewing for you guys. Cancelo playing. No De Bruyne. There he is with his training top on. Cancelo coming on. That's a big one. That is a big one. Yokohama with a team huddle. All getting ready to come out. I don't know if they've made any substitutions. I doubt it. But the fact that we've got fresh legs coming on here. Cancelo looks like he's playing right back. Diaz. Rodri's looking like he's taking Phillips. This team now should go on and win this game, looking at this. But I'm excited for Oscar Bob playing in the right wing. Haaland's obviously in the Haaland position, let's call it that. Kickoff's about to start. Ortega's still in net, though, so no change there. And there we go, kickoff. All 10 has been changed by the looks of this. So no Akanji, no Ake, no Stones. Rico Lewis, sorry, that's a name I've not mentioned. Laporte, Diaz, Gomez must be left back. Bernardo Silva is in the middle. Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis looks like he's playing defensive midfield, which is interesting. I don't know why I didn't change Ortega. Maybe he's going to give Ortega the whole second game out, and Edison gets the full second game against Bayern Munich. I don't know. Haaland's chasing down a loose back. You can go and get that. Haaland didn't seem interested in that. It seemed like he could have chased that. But, yeah, Haaland's back. Hey. Oh, it's good times to be a City fan, isn't it? What do you think about my idea? I had an idea the other day. It's an unusual one, and it might hinge on Erling Haaland's future, and definitely hinges on Harry Kane's future, the whole idea. Bear with me 1 second. A nice little through ball fired across to Oscar Bob. Brings it down. Oscar Bob and Bernardo Silva linking up nicely. We've got to keep Bernardo Silva. I'll give you my idea in a minute, because City are on the attack here. Building some nice triangles. Rodri looking composed. There's Cancelo. Boo! Boo! No, I'm not going to do that. I don't believe in booing City players. If you've got a City shirt on, you let them get on with it, as far as I'm concerned. I have no problem if you do want to boo. I'm not against you booing. I just personally don't like to boo. I never have been a booer. Boo the opposition, of course. Nice little ball in from Foden. Haaland was waiting in the middle, but cleared. This is looking very City-esque. Like, yeah, they can't get out. We are pinning them to their edge. Here's Haaland in the box. Haaland on his right foot tries to cross it in, but it's cleared. Yokohama trying to counter-attack here. Marco Visa's spoiled my idea. That's right. That is my idea. Before the ball. That dribbles to Ortega. But yeah, my idea is, and it depends on Harry Kane and Erling Haaland's future this season for Kane. Harry Kane's a free agent next year. The rumours are definitely... Oh, long-range shot there from the halfway line from Yokohama. Ortega just catches it and says, piss off with that. Don't try that against me. Goalkeepers hate it, don't they, if you try to lob them from the halfway line. They're livid. And Ortega just went, yoink. No, don't do that to me. But anyway, yeah, Kane being a free agent, we're going to hear all next season, I guarantee 4 or 5 times we'll hear rumours that Haaland's on his way to Real Madrid, because whether that's true or not, that I'd hope it's not. I would rather keep Haaland. If you gave me the choice of Erling Haaland and Harry Kane, I would keep Erling Haaland because he's got so much room to grow. He's so young. Harry Kane is the finished article, but you're going to get 4 years out of Kane at best. At best. And how many of those years are going to be injured? But to get him for free is a different prospect. When we're talking about just getting him on his wages, Haaland could play ahead of Harry Kane. Harry Kane's proven that he can play an attacking midfield. Jose Mourinho got him doing that with Son, and Harry Kane. They were both interchanging between striker and attacking midfield. And if he goes to Bayern Munich, then this whole idea is nonsense. But if he stays at Spurs, that means he's a free agent effectively. And come January, I think you can sign a preliminary contract that can say you're going to sign for the club in 6 months' time in the summer transfer window. And I think you can sign that in January, I believe. But who's to say that City don't go and just pay his wages and get him in the squad? Would you say no to a Harry Kane? What if it was Harry Kane and Erling Haaland? If it required Erling Haaland to leave, then I would say no to the idea. But if it was Harry Kane and Erling Haaland, it would be an odd strike duo, wouldn't it? Striking duo. But who's to say that's not going to happen? What do you think of that? What do you think about the idea? Here we go. Crossed in. Oh! Foden nearly cleared away by Yokohama. Nearly a chance there. Oscar Bob linking up well there. Bernardo Silva was getting to the touchline, whips it in. And I think it was Rodri who just tried to chest it towards the goal as it sort of came at him. The cross comes at him chest height and he sort of tries to flick it in a hopeful direction. This looks far more like City. And obviously the bigger players are now playing. I think that was the lesser team we saw in the first half. These are more... Obviously you've got Rico Lewis and Oscar Bob, but you've got your Haaland, your Rodri. Rodri's the one that's the nucleus of the team. He's the centre of everything, isn't he? And without Rodri, I don't think we're the same team. And the fact that he's now playing, he's been involved in so much already, just little touches. And it's never anything glamorous, never anything outlandish. It's just the simple stuff, the basics. And if you do that right, you don't get any headlines written about you, unless you go and score a Champions League winning goal, of course, that's different. But throughout the season, he was just doing everything that was simple to perfection. And that's what you want from him. Gomez bombing it down the left wing there, winning us a corner. LPG says, who's this Cancelo person? I can't pronounce his name. I consistently call him Cancelo. If you're talking about my pronunciation of him, you're going to get used to that with me. Because my pronunciation of players, it'll be funny. I'll try and talk sense about football, but in terms of player names, I tried to talk about the Yokohama team. Do you want me to try and talk about the Yokohama players and try and pronounce their names? Because this could get really ugly. Very, inaudible. Oh, this is nearly a goal again. Whipped in. Was that Oscar Bob? That was a delightful cross. Diaz back post, leaping at it, stretching his legs as much as he can, but he couldn't stretch them far enough, and it just goes past. What a nice cross that from Oscar Bob. But, yeah, no, please don't pronounce the Yokohama players. No, yeah, I'll try not to. I won't. Can't. Cello. Oh, Haaland's in. Haaland scores. There we go. Game. Yeah. Haaland scored. Haaland scored. Was there any other outcome? Haaland receives the ball. Haaland has a shot. Haaland scores. Is there any other outcome? Pep's now talking to his man like, well, that was a given. Anyway, moving on to the next subject. Haaland scored. Like, what? It's so simple for him, isn't it? Plot that on the scoreboard. Haaland again. One touch, out of his feet, into the bottom corner, raises his arms. I've scored. Was there any other outcome? Erling Haaland. It's good, isn't it? It is good. I've missed it. I've missed it. Look at him. He's constantly scanning. Looking always over his shoulder, looking at every single possibility. Where can I position myself to make myself a nightmare for the centre-back? And he does the old... Yep. And Pep applauds him. Big smile from Pep. So that's an end of his drought, because that man was on a drought. He was on a goal-scoring drought. I think it was 8 games at the end of last season. Here he is again, nearly. But yeah, he was on a drought by Haaland's standard. 8 games without a goal by anyone's standard is a drought. By a striker, of course, not anyone's standard, but by a striker's standards, 8 games without a goal is a long run without a goal. End of that discussion, thankfully. I know it's just pre-season, but a goal's a goal. So that's one to add to the record. Another long ball over the top. Here we go, here we go, here we go. No. Who was that? Was that Foden? Foden had to finish that. Nice little chipped ball over the top. I think it was Laporte with a lovely little dink over the top. Foden with all the space in the world. Yokohama have collapsed here. They look like they're getting pierced through their defence with ease at this point in time. Foden brings it down. One-on-one. He just takes his shot a little bit early. He probably should have laid it in off to Haaland. And we saw at the start, here we go. Oh, Rico Lewis nearly laid in Erling Haaland. But it was a good save, though, from the keeper on Foden. Oscar Bob goes down very easily. Referee, I don't know what the referee does. He bowed at him. He didn't do anything. I think he just bowed at him. But yeah, I'm not sure there was. Here we go. Haaland's in it. He's forced him wide. But Haaland's out wide. He's not going to get a shot in from there, but he lays it over to Gomez. But Haaland's now not in the box. Rico Lewis out to Rodri. Rodri is going to have a screaming shot. No, woefully wide from Rodri. But Erling Haaland's back. Erling Haaland is back. Yeah, this is the chance here. Good save from the keeper on Foden. I'd like to see it from the bigger picture. Could he have passed Haaland and just squared it for a tap-in? I didn't see it from that replay. But I remember at the start of last season at home to Bournemouth, Newcastle away, start of this last season, there was numerous times where it was all that time when the conversation was about Haaland. How can the City players link up with Haaland? Can Foden pass the ball? Can we find the ball to Haaland? Has Haaland joined the wrong team? Do you remember that absolute nonsense, that narrative that was being pumped into the media? Complete bollocks. That was, has he joined the wrong team? No, yeah, treble winning, 50 plus goals, whatever. Outrageous, yeah, wrong team. But there were link-up problems at the start of the season, but it was the start of the season, so that's to be expected. There were a couple of times where Foden could have squared it to Haaland and should have squared it, took the shot away, and people would get frustrated with Foden because it was a couple of times, and I'm wondering if that was another one again. You hope he's learnt to you're better off just being sweaty and just a little pass. Pass it a simple empty net. Who cares what it looks like? I prefer we scored than you getting a glamorous goal. It's better that we score. But I'm not sure. I haven't seen it properly back whether he should have actually squared it to Haaland or not. But he'll only score 15, says Darren. Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable. Some of this, there are guesses in football that you can make and predictions that you can make in football, but some of them are quite clear as day. And Haaland scoring lots of goals was a very, very simple prediction to make, to be honest. It wasn't rocket science, it wasn't brain surgery, it was very, very simple. Haaland is going to score goals in a City shirt. Not quite as many as he did, I don't think anyone was expecting that, but he was definitely going to score goals. And to say he'd be lucky to get 15, he's just trying to stand out, wasn't he? He was just trying to be different. And he managed that very successfully, very different. But yeah. What made me laugh was people comparing Haaland to Núñez. Well, I did that. You go and watch my short. I made a little short about that because that was funny. Yeah, the comparisons were non-existent. They're very different players, you know. And at the end of the day, that is a position. They have Yokohama dilly-dallying on the ball. City are swarming them here. But yeah, in that position, the Núñez role, the Haaland role, it is going to come down to goals at the end of the day, isn't it? You know, I think Núñez does things very differently compared to Haaland. He's got more... Well, he hasn't got more speed, but he's very, very quick. Because Haaland's obviously lightning quick as well. But Núñez does things a little bit differently. He's happier to come and collect the ball more than Haaland. But Haaland just then collecting the ball, as I'm saying that, sprays it out to Gomez, and Gomez doesn't find the right pass for him. Trying to get it to Haaland, but wasn't quite on. The defender read it quite well. But yeah, the Núñez one. I'm interested to see Núñez this season. I'm wondering how he's going to actually perform in a Liverpool shirt. Could he have a second season? Because if he does have a good second season, then Liverpool are going to be a threat. Haaland spins his centre-back, but got his shirt held there. Free kick, looking about 40 yards out, though. So Haaland smirking. Eduardo, the defender, was manhandling Erling Haaland. Can't have a shot from here, really. Bit too far out for a shot. Maybe. Foden's looking like he might have a go, though. Pep with his dapper jeans and his cool little white shirt on. Is there a more dapper manager than Pep Guardiola? Roberto Mancini. We've had two. Sandwich Pellegrini, the most non-dapper, mundane individual ever. Great manager, but in terms of style, like... Mancini and Pep Guardiola. Incredibly stylish. Quick free kick taken. Out to Gomez. Gomez whips it back in. Header. Stones. Wasn't Stones, sorry. He's not even on the pitch. Diaz over the bar. But yeah. Yeah, Darren says, Rory Jennings telling everyone we're still a little insignificant club. Yeah, he's a Chelsea fan, isn't he? Need I say more? Those in glass houses, eh? Need not throw stones. Treble is all you need to say. It's like it ends every single conversation. There's no argument now that City fans can't enter with other fans that doesn't need to just go, treble. End of discussion. We won the treble. The things that we were told we can't do, we've done them all. And now we're setting benchmarks for you. All these other clubs now have to match our standards. We have set the benchmark. I mean, what can we do this season? Imagine. I mean, what would you take? I'd like to hear from your opinions on what is a successful season for City this season. Do you think just one trophy will do? Do we need to repeat the treble? Personally, I would take a Premier League. Just a Premier League. I think that would be amazing to do that. I'm not being greedy by doing that, I don't think. Obviously, I would take a Champions League, and I think we will be targeting that. And I wouldn't put it past us that we do it. If anything, I think the Champions League could be easier. Foden trying to feed in Oscar Bob then. Foden playing in the middle, mind you, as well. He's looking good in that position in terms of picking up the ball. But yeah, in terms of what is a success next season, I think winning the Champions League would be easier than winning the Premier League because we've got that monkey off our back now. We've defeated the voodoo doll that was stopping us from winning the Champions League. So I think that mentality is strong now. Going into the Champions League, I think we can go in with that, that Real Madrid-esque mentality. Like, this is our tournament. The way they behave and the way they conduct themselves in the Champions League, they act like it's theirs. It belongs to them, this trophy. The Premier League is your bread and butter at the end of the day. It's 38 games. I've always said the Champions League is actually a bit easier than the Premier League because I think the Premier League is a marathon, and getting revved up for one knockout game is easier to do than it is to win 38 games or get enough points to win the league over the course of 38 games. I genuinely believe that. It's just because luck plays such a big factor in the Champions League in terms of just everything needs to go your way. And I think even the most realistic City fans and even the most optimistic and delusional City fans would probably admit that we rode our luck in the last 10 minutes of that Champions League final. Ederson, you can call that just a quality save, you could call it luck, but it just went our way. Diaz's header, when he just gets it past the post, like that. Lukaku's missing a sitter. That's out of our hands at that point. He headed it straight at Ederson, and then Diaz puts it past the post, and then that save at the end, and it was just written in the stars. And that's why the Champions League for me, as imperative as it is that we go for it, and of course, there is just something about it that I think the Premier League is a harder thing to do. Like, I really believe that. But yeah, I want to hear your thoughts. I was just waffling on them without reading any of your thoughts. Darren says league all day, every day. Marco says, I'm so sick of hearing people saying that we just outspend the other teams because we do not. And we are just very clever with the players we sign. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely spot on. I mean, it's a myth now at this point. Foden bringing it down the middle. Haaland was in, and Haaland looks pissed off. Foden should have laid him in. Then Haaland made the run. He didn't see it, Foden. He's got to do better there. Oscar Bob! Oh! Nice little play there. Bernardo Silva slips it in the middle between the centre-back and the right-back. Offside flag's gone up. Wouldn't have counted anyway. But Bernardo Silva delightfully, close, slots it down the channel. Oscar Bob, left foot, tries to whip it into that far post, but good save from the keeper. Wouldn't have counted. Rory Jennings should come out of the closet before this. I can't comment on that, mate. Yeah. Mark Harris, a cold January night away at Newcastle is the difference between winning the league compared to a night in Spain. Yeah. Absolutely. Cancelo has a shot. Oh, imagine if that went in. Imagine, what do you do? What do you do? You go, yeah. It very nearly. I think the keeper saved it as a corner. Really good play from Cancelo there. Ooh, it was going wide. Keeper got a touch on it, but it was going wide anyway. Pep shrugs his shoulder. Doesn't look happy with João, though. I have to take my time to pronounce it right. So, João. Cancelo. I'll get it right. One day. Rico Lewis whipping in a delightful corner. Good clearance from the keeper, though. Oscar Bob trying to pick up the pieces, but it's gone out for a throw-in. Big M. Marco, you're right. Arsenal spending 200 million in both the last summer at windows, but according to rival fans, that's not buying the league. Gunners still both at it when trying to buy it. Absolutely right. Spot on. Ball crossed into Rico Lewis. Cleared, though, Yokohama. The whole spending thing with City, I think slowly but surely there are people that used to say certain things about City and their spending that are not saying them either at all or as quite as loudly as they used to. One of the most common things that you'll hear if you enter into a conversation with any fan, rival fan, is, yeah, but we earn our money. It's our money. It's not oil money. It's our money. And I mean, if you're talking to, you can go back to any club, and I know in particular about United, the old boys who are watching this, if there's anyone back old enough to remember in the 50s and the 60s, United were bought by the Edwards family. Louis Edwards, the man was in Britain's richest top 10 list at the time. One of Britain's richest men bought Manchester United. He bought them. That's investment. Exactly the same as what we did. And with his money, he went on. It was even allegations of brown paper bag jobs with the youth team crossed in there from Gomez. Back post for Oscar Bob. Oscar Bob still got the ball, picking up the pieces. He's looking to cross it back in the other way from his side of the pitch. Beats his man, gets caught on the ball, but Cancelo picks up the pieces. Cancelo now, will he cross one in? He does. To nobody. Corner ball cleared for a header. Louis Edwards bought Manchester United back in the 50s, and with his investment, that's the key word, investment, it's not self-sustaining money or money that United had already earned. This was his money that he pumped into the club. He improved United, and they went on to build a youth academy. That youth academy grew and grew, and hold on, corner coming in, cleared. It's all City at the minute. Yokohama barely got out of their half, this whole half, 66 minutes in. Bernardo Silva picking it up. But you tell me the difference between what I just described. I'll tell you the difference between Louis Edwards buying United back in the 50s and spending money more than everyone else was spending. He was outbidding everybody. That's the key factor as well. And while there was also allegations of brown paper bag jobs, of getting youth players to play for United by persuading their parents with money to come and play for United, they weren't proven. But this is what I'm talking about. There is a short memory, and people think the Premier League is the start of football, that football was invented in 1992. That is absolutely not the case. Here's got Oscar Bob into the box. Could have done it a bit quicker there. Good defensive tackle, though, from Eduardo. But, yeah, the difference between the models of ownership models that I've just described and what Louis Edwards did is just the valuation of players. Back then, a player was worth 10 grand to 50 grand, 100 grand. That was those fees are what were being thrown. Now it's hundreds of millions. The principle is still there. Like, they were outbidding everybody back then and had more money to spend than everybody else, like we do now. We have more money than everybody else, yet we're not even outbidding everybody. Everyone else has got a massive pot that they can dip into and spend money on. So don't come to me and talk about, like, oh, we earned our money, because United fucking didn't. So if they come to you and tell you, make sure you remind them of Louis Edwards. I bet you most of them don't even know who Louis Edwards even is. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. But we'll see. Yeah. Muddy Duck, it's not a short memory from the rags, but selective memory. Yeah, it is selective, usually, yeah. And people only really want to talk about the glory days, don't they? Because you don't really hear United talking about the last 4 or 5 years. And it's phases, isn't it? Football is full of eras and phases. And right now, it's City's time. It might not last forever. That's why we should cherish these moments. It might not last forever. I mean, I can't see us falling off the face of the earth. And the one thing I will say is people always used to say, about Sheikh Mansour. Wait till he leaves. Wait till he leaves. Well, he's invested that money in bonds. So the club have that money already. That money is within the club. So the only way that if he left, he would leave that money with the club. The club now own that money. People think that every time City want to sign a player, they ring up Sheikh Mansour and he writes a cheque and posts it in the mail. Do you know what I mean? That's not how it works. The club own that money. That's the Manchester City's money. Whoever owns Manchester City obviously has an influence on that money, but City as a club own that money, and there's no way that we would just collapse because he decided to leave or for whatever reason. You know, God forbid that day ever happens. We need to have him around for as long as possible. God bless Sheikh Mansour. I hope you're enjoying the stream, Blues. This is the first one I've done properly. Last season, like I said to those that were here early, I did 4 streams to like 3 people. So it's good to see there's more than 3 people here today. I hope you're enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. But it is for you. So as long as you're enjoying it, that's the main thing. Don't do any super chats, by the way. Don't waste your money. I hope no one's done anything. Please don't do that, because I'm going to hook up things like that to make the stream a little bit more attractive visually with some graphics further into the season. I've not done that, so your name won't pop up if you do a super chat or anything. So don't waste your money. I'd rather you just spoke to me on here, and I'll try and speak to as many of you as possible. But yeah. Big M, and this is why Typical City deserves more subscribers. The guy spits straight facts. The other day, I did literally spit facts. So you might need to. I can't remember what part of the video, but there was a video that only I probably noticed. Maybe you noticed. I was ranting about something, and I swear this big blob of spit went flying out my mouth. So I quite literally do spit facts. Thankfully, it didn't land on the lens, which is would have ruined the whole video for you. But yeah, that didn't happen. Let's all spam a link to this channel on the next Mark Goldberg. Oh, it's a goal! Oh, there we go. He's done it again. Mr. Rodri. Mr. Rodri looks casual the way he did that. Just nonchalantly pops it into the bottom corner. And it was really quite slow. It didn't fly in. Typical Rodri is to smash it, isn't it? But he placed it, guides it into that bottom corner. All the space in the world. Just, do you know what? It was quick. It wasn't slow at all. It was quick. He did get some power behind that. But it was similar to, yeah, that was very, further out, very similar to the Champions League goal. The same body language. I bet that was ingrained into his muscle memory. I bet he's been dreaming about that every night since the Champions League final. Just sitting there, going to bed, picturing that ball landing at his feet and the way he just smashed it. I know I've been dreaming about it, but smashing it into that bottom corner. It was exactly the same finish as that, except he was about 10 yards further out than he was for the Champions League goal. But substitutions arriving now. Need to update the score. 4-2 to City. Yeah, Goldbridge. Spam the Goldbridge stream. I'm sure he'll appreciate that, mate. Yeah. Yeah. Our Istanbul hero. Yes. That was a good goal. Really good goal. It's good that we've won the game. Well, we haven't yet, but it looks like we're heading towards winning the game. And, you know, you don't want to give any sort of confidence to the opposition because I know it's pre-season, but at the end of the day, they'll watch. Arsenal will look. Arsenal fans in particular, and Liverpool, United, blah, blah, blah. They'll all look at this and go, did City win? Yeah, however many we were won by, we'll still not won this game. It's not over yet. But, you know what I mean? If at 2-0, you're like, oh, City lost 2-0 to Yokohama. It just breeds... Oh, here we go. Rico Lewis with some fantastic defending. Really good defending there. Matthias is the player who is trying to show him round the outside. Dummies in, tries to chop against Lewis, but Lewis read it really well. But, yeah, you don't want to give a taste of confidence to the opposition. I'm sure realistically they'll look at it and go, I know it's just pre-season, but they'll go into, if they went to the season and we'd lost all 3 pre-season games, for example, they could go, City lost all 3 pre-season games. Like, maybe they're not going to get off to a good start. And that gives the team and the club and the aura around the club a good feeling. Whereas if City win all 3 pre-season games, it's like business as usual for City. And that's, even though it's pre-season, you've got to take that caveat with it. But it is a statement to win all 3 pre-season games. It is a statement. So, you know, it shows we're raring to go and ready for the new season. Defending our treble. Let's go. Cleared by Diaz from an attempted cross. Yokohama coming forward a little bit more now. Oscar Bob getting manhandled there. Free kick, referee. What are you playing at, mate? Doesn't give it. City being pinned back a little bit, but City have got the ball, looking composed. Rico Lewis with a man on his shoulder, and he gives the free kick. One of those positions where the player on the ball just needs to stop and look at the referee and go, you're going to give the free kick? Always get it, don't you? If a player's like pulling your shirt like that, you just stop, don't you, and go, ref, free kick. One of them. Oh, no. Bernardo Silva's coming off. He's getting his plane to Saudi Arabia. No, he's not. No, hopefully that's not an injury. And Pep Guardiola kicked him in the backside, quite literally, in jest. He did it jokingly, with a big smile on his face. So hopefully it's not serious. Hopefully it's just like I felt something. I need to come off. But it was Perone coming on by the looks of it. They're not doing a very good job of covering this game, to be honest. I'm not really seeing what's going on a lot of the time. But I think it's Perone, so chance for him. Black Rambo says, think we will be in the Champions League final again? I would love it, mate. I would absolutely love it if we get in the Champions League final. I think who's your prediction for the #1 threat to our Champions League? For me, it's only Bayern. Real Madrid close behind, but I think City and Bayern are equal favourites. I think it's 50-50 between them two. I remember watching the game at Bayern, and thank God we had our lead. The way they played at the Allianz Arena, and Haaland missing the penalty, and then he went and scored and made it 1-0 anyway, thankfully. That was huge, that goal. Oh, hold on a minute. Laporte's giving it away in a dangerous area on the edge of the box. Blocks, though. Laporte rectifies his mistake, thankfully. Cancelo doing well there, collecting the ball, knocking it down the touchline for Oscar Bob to bring away, but keeping the ball. But I remember Bayern Munich in that second leg, they were the better side. And I think what was the end of the actual game? I know we went through on aggregate, but I can't remember the actual result. Was it 1-1 or 2-1 to Bayern? I can't remember. I can't remember what happened in that game. All I remember was Bayern's dominance in that second half, and we couldn't get out. And we defended valiantly, and we were really, really good defensively. Amazing performances defensively, but it was just an indication of like there are very few teams that can get the ball and keep it as long as Bayern did against us. And we're going to see them against City next game, Wednesday. Streaming live on Typical City if you want to come along for that one as well. I look forward to seeing you if you're free to do so. But here comes Foden coming down the left side. Gomez is further ahead. And I think that's where Gomez belongs, to be honest. I don't think he's got a good defensive mind. I find him often caught on the back post, thinking that there's no one going to be about to leap over your shoulders, or his back post defending worries me. But going forward, he's technically very good, Gomez. And here he is on the ball, lays it back to Foden, outside the edge of the Yokohama box. Laporte and Foden. Foden whips it in. Haaland just couldn't get in front of his marker. Perone trying to get hold of the ball. Perone, he's not had any minutes, has he? Any time. And another one for me that I don't have an opinion on him because I haven't seen him. You know, I want to see more of him in a City shirt. I haven't seen enough of him to say he should play or he should be sold or loaned or whatever it may be. Now we get an opportunity to see him, but 1-1 it was, Bayern. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah. So we didn't even lose to them, which is good. Beat them at our place, draw to them at their place. Yeah, really, really good. But I think Bayern, and the fact that Thomas Tuchel's gone in there, and he only really got he only joined halfway in the season. How mad is it that last season Thomas Tuchel was a Chelsea manager? That seems so long ago, arguing with Conte on the touchline. Here we go, Yokohama's in. Oh, Ortega comes out and snuffs the chance brilliantly. Well read. Something that him and and Edison do really well is the sweeper keeper role. But I tell you what, I hate to say it, I do hate to say it, but Cancelo's been good. He's not made a mistake. He's looked confident on the ball, looked composed. But here comes Foden, lays in Haaland. That's the one. Haaland lays it off. Bit overhit for Gomez. Gomez whips it in. If anything, Haaland overhit the pass there to Gomez. Probably a little bit underhit from Foden, so Haaland had to slow down. And then when Haaland slowed down, he could have laid in Gomez a bit quicker, and then he overhit the pass. Chance was gone, but Yokohama player down, injured at the minute. It's been an all right standard of quality, to be honest. Not brilliant, but it's been okay. I've never seen Yokohama play. We played them pre-season about 3 or 4 years ago. Zero memory of that game, to be honest. But they've been all right, Yokohama. It's been a reasonable test. I think they're trying their hardest, because how often do you get to play the treble-winning champions of Europe? You know what I mean? So they're probably playing out of their skins, regardless of the outcome being meaningless. It means nothing in the grand scheme of things, but it does to them personally for their own professional careers, and it's great. Good for them. I'm pleased for them to get to play against City, and apparently there are 80,000 people there, which is good for City as well as Yokohama. D. Zish says, I don't understand the Perone signing. I really do wonder what City has planned for him. Yeah, me too, mate. I don't really understand it. I mean, it's equal to Phillips. I don't really understand the Phillips signing, considering even last season when he was injured as for the majority of last season. But there were numerous times where Phillips could have played against Sheffield United in the cup, for example, in the semi-final. Obviously, it's a semi-final; it's important, but they were also missing Doyle and McAtee, who was cup-tied. So we could have played Phillips in there, really. And there were that's one game. There were plenty of other games that he could have played, games that were already done. Even in the Premier League games when we'd won the league, Brighton, Brentford, he could have played in those games. But I think perhaps probably looking at those games as warm-up for the final, Champions League final. And that's why he played Rodri in those games. And I know loads of City fans, me too, 61,000 is the attendance. They've just put that up on the board, not 80,000. But hey, 61,000 for a pre-season friendly. Yeah, not bad, eh? They've seen 6 goals. Haaland scored. Good day for the locals. But, yeah, Rodri, what's your opinion on how many minutes he's going to get next season? Because I know a lot of City fans, me included, were panicking about the idea of how many minutes Rodri was getting. It turned out to be a fantastic decision from Pep Guardiola, because just go and look at the Champions League final. It worked out perfectly. But that is, hindsight is like, we're all geniuses after the fact, aren't we? But, you know, it worked. Rodri ended up scoring. So I don't think Pep quite predicted that. That probably wasn't his intention, but it worked in the end. And it didn't harm us. We weren't punished or get a Rodri injury. But this season, it worries me a little bit. Here's Gomez coming down the left-hand side. Pulls it back to Perone. Perone trying nice. Here's Perone. He scuffs his cross a little bit. Good play to get in the position from Perone. Lively play. 1-2 with Gomez. Was it Gomez or Foden? Foden 1-2 with Perone. Gets himself into the box. Left foot cross. But he just didn't quite connect it. Even if he connected with it well, I think that cross was getting cleared anyway. But here come Yokohama. Cancelo dealt with it. Really good. Really good from Cancelo. That's annoyed me that he's come on and played well, because it's like, okay, right. If we're going to get to a situation where Cancelo plays and he's part of the team next season, because for whatever reason, he has to, some form of statement needs to be made. Something from Pep, something from the club, something from Cancelo himself. He needs to say something in the media to warm the hearts of City fans. Let us know that you give a shit. Do you know what I mean? Come into the game and play with your heart out, but state your intentions. Say that I'm here for City. I'm prepared to fight for the shirt. Whether I'm playing or not is the key point. Because if you don't get minutes, don't kick off about it. Because there are other players that are in the same boat. So don't be a mad ass about it. Cancelo is gone, bro, says Hot Hits. Well, he's on the pitch right now, mate, so he's not gone. For now, you might be right in the course of the transfer window, maybe. I'm surprised if Pep's finished with him, because the rumours were that Cancelo threw a ball in his direction, stormed out of training. That's rectifiable. I think that's something people lose their temper. For me, if someone did that to me, you're one apology away from being forgiven. As far as I'm concerned, if I was Pep Guardiola, I would forgive you if you came to me the next day and said, sorry, I threw the ball at you. It was a dickhead thing to do. Sorry about that. Can we move on? Yeah, of course, move on. It's the fact that he went to Bayern, that's not the problem. It's the fact that he said things in Bayern, like, I hope Tuchel wins me a Champions League, and things like that. And then he's come back and said other things in media while he's being videoed training in a Portugal top. He's just got back to City training, and his social media team, I doubt it's him himself, he's probably got a social media team, who posted to Instagram with him in a Portugal top saying, believe in yourself and forget the rest. That's a backhanded dig at City. And I mean, that's the point where it went too far for me. I was like, right, you need to be gone after that. I think that's too much now. You're becoming a bad egg. You're going to spoil the atmosphere in the dressing room, and that's more important than any one player, is the camaraderie and the overall atmosphere and the feelings of confidence in the ground. That's too much. You don't want bad eggs. And Pep's renowned for that as well, doesn't he? He never likes troublemakers. If you talk about the players, Yokohama are in. Oh, no, they're going to score, and they have. Rico Lewis and Ortega, confusion. Is he onside, though? Well, I would like to see this back, because I think VAR is involved. But Rico Lewis, easy ball through. Rico Lewis was caught sleeping there a little bit. Let's have a look at this. No, it's Laporte. Rico Lewis not in line. He played everyone on. Rico Lewis has played him on, so he's the closest man. And then Ortega comes out. Fault at both ends there for me. Rico Lewis playing him onside is at fault, but then it looks like he was going to get back. Ortega should have stayed on his line at that point. He comes out, misses the ball, and Rico Lewis touches the ball just, so he was going to get there anyway. He won the tackle, but then Ortega takes out Rico Lewis, and in goes, I don't know who scored, but Yokohama made it 4-3. 4-3 to Yokohama. Confusion at the back there, but excitement. Hey, 4-3 pre-season. I wasn't expecting it to be a 7-goal thriller quite like this. And here comes City. 88 minutes in. Whipped in Sergio Gomez. It was a poor one. Couldn't get it in front of the centre-back, with Haaland waiting to receive it in the middle of the box. Hot Hit says, am I worried? About what? The game or the season? The game? No, not really worried. Even if they equalise, I'm still not worried, really. It doesn't really mean anything. But Edvin says, I'm so happy Cancelo is back. Well, that's interesting. I think it is a divisive one, because he is a good player. He's a good player. And we may need someone like that. The question is the system as well. You've got to factor in the fact, what formation is Pep going for this season? Here come Yokohama. 87th minute. Sorry, I thought it was 86, 88 before. Yeah, cleared by Oscar Bob, and Oscar Bob's bringing it forward. But the system, what is he going to play? 3 at the back. Where's Cancelo fitting in that system? Where can Cancelo play in a 3 at the back? He's not a centre-back. The only way would be, some people call it inverted fullback, but there were times last season where we had so much of the ball that it was never an inverted fullback. John Stones was defensive midfielder. If ever did we see him go out to right back alongside Rodri. Could Cancelo play in that role alongside Rodri? Maybe, because he's creative enough, he's confident on the ball, maybe, but it's not his natural position. He is a fullback, an out-and-out fullback, Cancelo, left back or right back. So when we play 4, yes, definitely. But then we've got Walker, who's been given the captain's armband today, which is another indication that I think Pep sees him in a City shirt next season, which means left back is the only position. Here come Yokohama. Laporte bringing him down. Is he going to give a penalty here? No, he's not. Laporte brought him down. Good tackle, says the referee. But if we are playing 4 at the back, Walker goes right back. So that means left back has to be Cancelo. So as much as it's an intriguing argument to keep Cancelo, where does he even play in this position? As I'm saying that, Cancelo gives it away. Sell him after that. There's my excuse. Sell him. I've been looking for that excuse all game now. If anything, that was going. So here come Yokohama, through on goal. Can Ortega save it? What a tackle from Laporte. That's what I'm talking about. Gvardiol, who? Laporte brings him down, but wins the ball impeccably. I still want Gvardiol, don't get me wrong, but yeah, he's offside. He's miles offside. But that's an indication. That's why we don't need to worry about Gvardiol, because if we don't sign Gvardiol, there's Laporte. Look at that. Gets back in time. Last-ditch tackle. Brilliant. Brilliant tackle. Fantastic. Oh, he's got cracked in the back of the head as well with his knee as well. Oh, that's a sore one, that. Oh, he's looking a bit concussed there, Laporte. See, that's another factor. Pre-season, we want to come out injury-free. We want to be raring to go. Fully fit squad for the start of the Premier League. Bernardo's already gone off. Injured maybe. Pep smiled. Bernardo smiled, and Pep gave him a joking kick up the backside while he was walking off. So maybe it's like, I just feel a bit tender. Hopefully it's a little one that'll be fit for the start of the season. Or maybe his mobile phone rang on the bench and it's PSG saying they've got an offer for you, mate. It's on the bench. Maybe. Hopefully not. But how was Kovacic, says Edvin. Okay. Didn't really stand out, to be honest. A couple of times I thought he took his time with the ball when he actually didn't realise he had. He could have turned quicker. He received the ball and didn't turn. A couple of nice passes. He played quickly. That's what it was. He received the ball and he moved it quickly, and that suits Pep. But here comes Oscar Bob. Nice little ball. Oh, just overhits it. Fakes the shot, but then tries to slide in a ball to Sergio Gomez and just overhits the... so hard to do that. Fake a shot because your body's like thinking... You're faking the shot, so your muscles are like ready to hit it as hard as you can. To then hit a delicate pass is one of the hardest things to do, is to change gears when you're passing a ball like that and hit it slowly after faking to hit it hard. And he overhits it. But Gamification says City needs a defender with their new formation. Laporte is good for them. Yeah, I think Laporte's a quality on the ball. I think Laporte is a very good ball player as well. I think Diaz and Akanji... I think Ake is like a nice blend of the two. I think he can play, hence why he's played left back quite a bit. And he's also a solid defender. I think Diaz is our out-and-out defensive defender, you know, the one who puts his head on the line, doesn't care if he's got a broken nose, will come on the pitch covered in blood and keep going, doesn't care. That's Diaz. And I'm sure other players have that attitude, but Diaz is the defending defender. I know what you mean by that. And I can't... Oh, Haaland tap in, Cancelo, with the wonderful assist from Cancelo. You can't really... Oh, Cancelo, what are you doing to us, mate? Are you going to be in a City shirt next season? Because that was a delightful assist from João Cancelo. 5-3, game over. Cancelo with the vision. That's eye of the needle stuff from Cancelo. Eye of the needle stuff. Threads it through. Haaland back post tap in. Haaland has made a living off goals like that. And he does not give two shits if it looks easy, if it looks ugly. A tap in is a goal. A goal is a goal. Who cares what it looks like? An easy goal for Erling Haaland. I'll take another 50 of those over the course of the season. And will Cancelo be assisting him throughout next season? Because that was good. That was a good assist. No two ways about it. Cancelo's come on and is impressed. He has impressed. Is Cancelo the answer? Muddy Duck says. Oh, God. He's killing us. He's killing us, Cancelo. Unbelievable. I'm a forgiving guy. I just want to hear an apology. Do you know what I mean? I want to hear even if it's not an apology. If you don't apologize, fine. Don't apologise to us. You apologise to Pep. We may never know whether that's happened or not. And if it has, good. I'm fine with that. But I need to still see something to City fans, because he's quite clearly open to posting on social media and giving messages in social media. So say something to get us believing that you're in it with us. You're part of the team again. You want to be part of the team. Make us believe it. Because right now I don't believe it. Even though you're playing well, I need more from that, because I need to know that you're not going to be kicking up a fuss halfway into the season because you're not getting the minutes you want and angling for another move away from City. And it just disrupts the dressing room, and we don't need it. We don't need it. So do something to prove that you're in it for the cause. Here comes City looking for a sixth. Cleared for a corner. 93 minutes in. Probably last chance of the game. Corner. Lachau says he has to apologise if he's staying. I agree, mate. Dizish says, I need Cancelo's attitude and mentality to impress me, otherwise he can F off. Totally agree. Is there time for a Haaland hat-trick? Muddy Duck says, ho ho. I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no. Whipped in. Haaland nearly. You wouldn't put it past him, would you? Cancelo having a shot and he balloons it into Rosed. Sell him. Sell him. There's the full-time whistle. Cancelo's last kick of the game is into Rosed. And obviously that is not enough for me to suggest selling him on its own. But the performance from Cancelo was good. Haaland came on and did what Haaland does. I see Perone being asked in there. Didn't really get an opportunity to impress at all. To be honest, I feel like the guy needs more minutes to genuinely impress. Foden was lively, involved. Bernardo Silva comes off injured. Oscar Bob looked confident, really confident. Diaz came on and brings that assurity with him. Laporte was fantastic with that one particular moment. Gomez was far forward. Rico Lewis looked confident. Ortega was probably the one I thought a bit wobbly on the ball. He comes out, it's his mistake for coming out. Ortega wasn't great. Was probably the one standout performance that is a negative. And I'm being quite harsh and critical by saying that. He conceded 3 goals. I think he was involved. Their third in particular coming out, that's Rico Lewis's ball. Stay out of the way. Let the defender do his thing. But good reminder, mate. You are going to need to lengthen your name. Yeah. Man City needs to move hard on the transfer markets. Yeah, possibly. I think there's more to come from City. I wouldn't be surprised if there is one or two players in this squad that aren't in the squad at the start of the season. Maybe the likes. It could be the ones that aren't so glamorous. Your Oscar Bobs. Could he be loaned out? Things like that. Maybe Cancelo's the big one. Walker was given the captain's armband. I think that's the headline for today. Walker starts and is given the headband, captain's armband. Imagine wearing that on your head. Everyone would know you're captain then. But yeah, he's given the captain's armband. So I think that's an indication that he's staying. And I'm happy about that. I'm not unhappy about the idea of Pavard. But we're not going to go for Pavard if Walker stays. I think Walker can play centre-back as well. Pavard would be a good addition to the squad because he can definitely play centre-back. We saw him do that for Bayern Munich. Playing those passes last season, his vision looks really, really good. But thank you for joining me, guys. I'm going to cut the stream just there. I do really appreciate you jumping on board. I wasn't expecting as many as you guys, 94 concurrent viewers at the very end of the stream as well. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm considering doing a match reaction. That'll probably be for tomorrow, but join me in the next stream as well. That'll be Wednesday, Bayern Munich. I am looking forward to it. But Blues, get in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the game, thoughts on who stood out to you in this game. Was there any notable performances in particular that you think is worth mentioning? And Kyle Walker, is he staying? Cancelo, is he staying? Get in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like and subscribe. Typical City is the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.